of you guys. So thanks for bringing some folks over. If you haven't, hit that like button. Definitely subscribe to the Real Precious, as well as the men on the panel. I believe everyone pretty much does their own thing on these YouTube streets. So definitely show some love, some support, some engagement, whether it's a like on their videos, a comment, something just to get the algorithm moving for them. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. All right, we're going to get into it. So I have a few videos here. Y'all know I go on these YouTube streets to get these videos that we can react to, have conversation around, and bring some people up on the stage to be able to give their perspectives as well. In this first video I saw, I was like, huh? But we're definitely going to get into conversation about it because, you know, whether a man does something for a woman or a woman does something for a man, I believe that it should be full-heartedly appreciated no matter what it is. However, this woman is questioning a gesture that a man made towards her. And not only is he just a man, but he is her man. And not only is he just her man, he is her fiance. And so she came on tonight's conversation. Everybody knows what tonight's conversation is. I've gone to one of the shows when it was in Philly a couple years ago. So I've met Ace and, you know, some of the people that are still on the panel and some people who aren't. He has a poet on there who's from Philly. I've been to a couple of his shows, got a lot of his merch and books and things of that nature. But we're going to get into this video because I want to get you guys' perspective. I feel like I already know where y'all going to go with it, but the audience don't. Okay. So we're going to get into a conversation surrounding this and what your thoughts are if you were the man in this situation who made this gesture towards his fiance.
A gesture. So if you're with someone, you going to get an oil change. Oil change is $150. They only give you $100. You didn't ask for the money. You didn't ask for it. But they gave you a half gesture. So you...
Did you tell him how much these things cost?
Yeah, if he'll ask him like, hey, how much is the oil change?
And you'll say 150 and he'll send you 100.
Yeah.
Now, that's crazy.
Are you married?
About to be.
So what's the problem? You already signed up.
I didn't...
So that's Mike the poet from Philly. He's like, hey, are you married? No, they're engaged.
I am appreciative of his gesture because he didn't have to do it.
So why is the correction not with your acceptance, but with his action?
Damn.
That's good.
But I have an issue with a man that I'm telling is $150
Buckle up.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and he's giving me $100. So now I'm thinking about your leadership. Now I'm thinking about other ways that you're going to short me. Now I'm thinking about how you also going to be frugal and petty and penny pinch in other departments, right? And so it may not be a heart wound, right? This is just baseline reciprocity. Why is it that I'm showing up for you fully, but you feel a need to give me 100 on 150? You're literally telling him the price and he's giving you a portion of it. So I want to know where's the rest of it, baby? Because when you're in my household, you're going to leave my household, right? And you're going to provide a covenant from me and you want me to respect you and lead, right?
Her household.
And you want me to be submissive. Where is my other $50?
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
Hey, hold on. For all the brothers. If you ain't gonna pay the whole thing, don't ask how much it costs. Just don't ask how much.
Don't ask how much it costs is what they're saying, okay? And mind you, he offered the money.
That shit costs. And I'm imagining he got it.
Yeah, he got it.
And so the fact of the matter that he's only sending you 100 is crazy.
It is not crazy.
Yes, it is.
What am I saving for wife then? If
you gonna go there?
We got an established black man who loves you enough to put a ring on it and says, you know what? We're gonna start you off with the 65% because I need to incentivize you to get to the promised land.
Good point.
Now, once we're married, because I'm taking you in now, baby, you upgrade it. How foolish of it is me and men like me to tell other men that it is okay to fully provide for a woman that hasn't said yes to you as wife. What am I doing? I got daughters that need tuition. I got parents that need care. I got to save for my own health insurance mostly. So I, as a black man who knows how hard it is to make a dollar, advise any other man to pay 100% of anything for a woman. And guess what? She said yes anyway.
All right, guys.
There we go.
So, Yeah, buckle up. So, you have a woman who is like every other woman, need an oil change, right? And so the man that she is not only with, but that she's engaged to, ask her, okay, how much is it? How much is the oil change? It's $150. All right, they go about their day. Right before they leave the house or before she goes to get the oil change, there's a Cash App or there's a Zelle, or before she left the house, here, babe, here's $100 towards your oil change. Her question is, should she question him on how he shortchanged her for the gesture that he made, the oil change, for helping her with her oil change in her car?
Wow.
I'm gonna let you guys go first.
Yeah, who gonna go first?
Man, I'll go first. Can you hear me, or am I still messed
No,
up?
go ahead. We'll speak loud as you can, man.
All right, I'll do that. I'm going to scream it
Wait.
out.
No,
loud.
Sean, no. Yeah.
No, seriously. First off, why is it his responsibility to pay for her oil? Now, it's a good gesture if he wants to do that, but why does it become his responsibility to do that? She didn't say, I don't have it, can you pay for it, according to the video. She said, oh, I need an oil change. And the expectation of him to pay for it, then that's what it became. So her disappointment was clearly because of her expectation. She expected him to offer and say, oh, I got it, I'll send it to you. When in fact, that's not his responsibility whatsoever.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Should I play it again? Because sometimes you do have to watch things a few times to get it.
I want to say, this is what some women do. They will put something in the air. Like, oh, I'm about to go get my car washed. They expecting you to be like, oh, here's, whatever it costs, right? Or like when they say they about to go get their nails done, or they want to get their hair done, they're hoping, or they're basically saying, sending that signal out like, hey, where the money at? Instead of saying, they could be like, hey, I don't have, I'm a little short. Can you help me with whatever? And I think that would go a longer way than automatically assuming that you're just going to be like dishing it out like an ATM.
So you're saying that women should just straight out come out and say, hey, look, I'm short. Can you give me the X amount of money?
Yeah, that's better than.
I would rather us just ask you directly, like, hey, I need an oil change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the video, she told him that she needed an oil change. Mind you, Sean, they are engaged. So he has taken some level of responsibility for her. It's not a marriage, but he is making a decision to step in that direction, right? No.
No, the only reason why, because listen, if we're gonna have a real relationship, don't be trying to be coy and all this. But if you tell me you're getting an oil change, or because I'm thinking you're telling me because you're going to be in a certain location at a given time, I'm not thinking you're trying to sneak this for me to pay for, right? Because if we weren't together, you'd be paying for your own oil change.
I honestly
I'd rather her come out.
I don't think that to me, I don't think that that's the issue here. She didn't ask him for the money. He offered the money.
No. Wait a minute. But she told him she was getting an oil change, though.
Well, that was the bird call. That was the bird call.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you didn't let me finish, right? if he was going to give her any money, I think he should have gave her the whole thing. Or because if my wife would have told me when we were fiancés she's going to get an oil change, I wasn't going to pay for it. When we were going together, I didn't pay for those things. I know. Listen, she had a car, and she had to get oil changes and stuff, and I knew she was going to. I didn't like offer to pay and just give her a fraction. I think the guy giving her a fraction is the issue. He shouldn't. If he wasn't going to pay for the whole thing, he shouldn't have gave her nothing.
But that's the problem.
That's the issue.
No, but what I'm saying is, if she wanted him to pay for it, she should have said,
his
"I'm getting
ass.
all change, and it costs this
Can you
money.
help me?"
Please pay for it."
Yeah. And this is what women do, Precious. This is what women do. I'm going to say exactly how most modern sisters do. They fucking dry begging. That's what they doing. They dry begging. I need. Yeah, you need. He should have shut the hell up and let her go do what she had to do. Because she would have been by some little knucklehead who been trying to holler at her and he'd have changed that all for $60. I'm glad that I can work with my hands. My wife got a GL 300 Mercedes. We was taking it to the dealer. They wanted $250, $300 for them to add some bullshit and change the oil. Like me, let me go and change his oil. I bought the oil for about 7 quarts of oil for what? $50, $50. Bought an oil filter for $12. It's 8 bolts you got to unscrew to take down the protective shield and the one little bolt. It took me 30 minutes. I still was, but again, sisters dry beg. And then they try to shame you if you don't do it. Say, hey, I need an oil change. I take it to little Nug. It's $135, $140. Now, think about it. Think about it, Precious. You got rent due in 3 days. She won't see. Look, she don't need it. She want to. Because the women knew every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, get your oil change so you can save up. You let them know. Listen, it's $120. And a man, because men calculate their money, believe it or not. We ain't just like, yeah, make it rain. We like, shit, let's calculate. I got 50 to make it rain. I got a little extra 20 if we want to do something for a little change. But that's what I'm saying. Just stop dry begging. Women dry beg a lot. I don't mess with nobody who dry beg. You talk about me about money, I'm going to change the subject. I might even leave because I ain't trying to let you borrow money and then lose a friendship. And my wife never asked for money to do certain stuff. Once we got together, now I have friends that need an oil change. That's $60. That's $50 because I'm gonna bring my little jack. I'm gonna get up there and let you bring me some lemonade. But you gotta do that yourself. Don't be trying to shame the man. She went there to shame him. You know what I'm saying? And that just, I wouldn't marry her at this point.
Well, I'm interested, Precious. Tell us how you see this situation. I'm curious.
I don't agree with her being mad that he didn't give her the entire amount, especially if she wasn't expecting it anyway. Anything extra is a gift.
Okay.
So I don't think that, that was right.
Okay.
However, if he offered the money for the oil change, take it and be happy, and now you got an extra, $50 in your pocket. Like, either way, you are still gaining in the situation. I don't know. I don't know why the second woman came in and was like, "Where's the other $50?" Well, you weren't expecting to, for him to pay for it anyway. So why ask where it's at? However, I do agree with the sentiment a little bit that if you're going to offer, then just pay the whole thing. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to be in a committed relationship and we're, gonna take responsibility for one another, you're still going to, if you say that you're hungry, I'm going to cook you a meal or make you something to eat, or those are the exchanges that happen in a relationship. Coach, my dad always said, if a man can't do it with his hands, he better be able to pay for it. Like, it's like that's how I was raised. My dad was not the man to work with his hands, so he had the money to pay for it. And I can't imagine that he always gave my mom the full amount. I'm pretty sure that she had money as well, and so that he put something towards it. So I think in each situation, you got to be grateful above all else. But it will plant a thought in a woman's mind.
Then what does that say about you being? If it plants a negative seed, then you weren't really grateful.
You
Well, no,
know,
I think you also have to learn someone too, because if this is a something where a woman is having things going in her life, and you are always offering, right? You're always offering to do things, and it's like, all right, well, you're offering to do that. Okay, be grateful. But if we're stepping into a situation where you're telling me that you're taking care of me, I have to sit back and see how you're doing that. Like, we come into your lives, so we have to see how you live your life, and how I always say I don't really ask. When y'all say just ask me, like just ask us for the money, it's crazy that I hear that, but this lady seems like she's dry begging. So y'all just want women to just say,
No,
"Hey,
no. Don't compare the two, because there's layers to it, right? If my honey came up to me and just asked me for money, that's one thing. But if we were talking about something specific that needed to get paid for, right? And then I would hope that I would have some kind of understanding. Is this something she could pay for by herself if I wasn't here, or something she needs my help with?" I would try to make those distinctions. I mean, I've been married for a long time. I tell you, I don't pay for my wife's hair care. I don't pay for the stuff that she keeps to make her feel womanly. She pays for that shit. I mean, I might, since I pay the bills and all that kind of stuff, I guess it gets melded in there. But her job that she works for, it only pays her a certain amount that she couldn't really live on. But it's definitely more than enough to do all of those sundry things that a woman needs, to new dress and new this and all that. I ain't gonna pay because I don't have to. So and then so I'm just trying to say it depends on your relationship, but we're not married yet. You my fiance, you studying me, I'm studying you. And if you are ungrateful like the chubby chick who's yelling and screaming that was sitting there with the big legs and stuff, the first thing I wanted to know was she married?
With the bad knees.
Right, if she was married, everything she said, if she was married, I would have to have one thought about it. But if she's an unmarried woman talking like that, all I'm thinking is that's why you ain't married.
Yeah, I think that.
Wait, I want to go into some things that Arpain said, right? So you said that you don't pay for certain things for your wife because you don't have to. Is that because she makes her own money?
Yeah.
Okay, so
she makes her own money, and this money that I don't try to claim that's for us, because it's money that I would rather her use to beautify her needs.
Right. So if she came to you and said that she needed an oil change, would you say pay for that yourself because you have your own money, or would you
pay for all the oil change? I pay anything other than the beautification shit. I'm paying for. I'm paying for everything. I bought her a car, right?
Okay.
So I mean, so none of that stuff she pays for.
I think there's levels to it, right?
You gotta keep me living forever, baby.
It's like, I'm not paying.
I never
for
even
no
think
hair
twice
care,
about that kind of stuff.
No, I'm not paying for
Just a
nobody
little
big
side
nails.
note. She had this old car from her mother, and one day I said, "Come on, hon, let's go to a dealership or whatever," and blah blah blah. And we bought a car that night. I'm a selfish guy. I said, this is going to give me so many brownie points. I don't know what to do with all this. She's going to be. She drove the car home, man. I could have did anything. I mean, I would say, "Hey, honey, see that chandelier over there? Swing from that shit for me, baby." So I tell you, man, every so often,
Let me see them acrobatics.
Anyway, so it's good to be married sometime, man. So me and my wife, we paid this. Her birthday was on Monday, so we were out.
Happy birthday to her.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Look like
I don't
she
know
hit
what's
you.
wrong with her, but she's still like that, man. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about what you said, Precious, that I have pushback on, is the fact that you said you come up either way. Why are you trying to come up on your fiance? I
Oh
don't
man,
get
we
that.
lost you
No,
there.
I wasn't saying it like that. I'm saying that either way she's in a good position if he offers to pay $100. Like if
No,
he
I-
offered her the $100 and she was going to pay $150 anyway, she keeps $50 in her pocket.
But that's
That-
my,
$100 in her
that's
pocket.
my point. Why are you trying to come up on your man and keeping
No, it's not-
$50 in your pocket from your man?
Sean, you blowing it up, Sean. You blowing it up. You blowing it up, Sean.
It's not. I'm not saying it like, oh my god, it came up $50. Either way, she was planning on paying $150 out of her own
That's
bank
right.
account, right? He offered. She didn't ask for the money. He offered the $100. Where she went wrong was saying, why didn't you pay for the whole thing?
Whole
And my
thing.
logic behind that was he paid for majority of it. So either way,
Okay, I get it. It just came out that way, and that's why I question. It came out that way.
But here's the issues I'll be having still, right? It goes to show how women pressures are, and it's I don't want to be picking on the women, but a lot of y'all poor money managers anyway.
a lot
What
of
happened to a lot of women are poor money managers?
poor money manager. Okay.
What happened to the, we think we all financially literate. What happened to the rainy day fund? You ain't got $150 in your rainy. And look, Precious, outside of maybe a Porsche, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, Nug under a tree can change your oil for $15-20. You get the specified oil for your car. That dude had you jacked up. Listen, you don't need a special, I gotta go to the dealership oil. Oil is the same regardless of who makes it.
Yeah, Doug.
He can change your oil and have you back to work before your lunch is over.
They
Before
don't
you
think like you know more, Coach Ferg. These men
no. They out there. It's just that they being obsolete. He can have you done, ready to go back to work before you eat that 8-piece of chicken you over munching on. So,
wow.
oil, listen, you can get your oil changed anywhere. You don't have to go to a dealer unless you have one of them high-end vehicles. And it doesn't affect your warranty if you let somebody under the shade tree change it with some Amazon products. It doesn't affect your warranty. You just have to, yeah. So come on, $150. She wanted some food. She wanted to flex to her friend. Girl, he gave me $150. Most women only see as long as they weave is.
Well, look, he wants to give me $150. We got our pain on here. Like, I just want her to swing from the chandeliers, child. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, for a car, that's the least.
For a car, hell yeah.
Hey, you got to do something strange for some change
okay,
now.
anybody
That's
wanna
her
bring-
duty.
Matter of
That's her
fact,
duty. That's her duty to do. Just
take
like
her me on the way home in your new car. We come back and get married.
You're right.
I don't want to brag too. Don't
Just-
even do that.
It's just like our duty to
If you
swing
wanna
on the
brag
vine.
when it's on
Tarzan.
when it's on your thought and when you think about it and when you get ready to do it,
but
and then when
see
you
that-
do it, and it puts a big smile on her face. Now I'm the man.
Right,
I'm the man.
But,
I can be my check.
but
I have
But
There's
when she
two
wanna-
problems I
when
have
She
with
just
the
want to
story, though.
say, "Hey, I have well, I gotta give you why I ain't."
well,
responsible. I ain't
what
gotta
you're
do this."
what you're speaking
I'm
to
going
is
to the
what you're-
dealership.
what you're speaking to is the woman's pride, and that's the problem that we
I'm
are
also speaking to the
combating.
man's pride, Sean.
You're right, absolutely. But we're now speaking to the woman's pride, which is the point of the matter. Is the pride is what really had this whole thing develop, because you said it. She didn't ask. Yes, she did. This is what men are telling you. She did ask indirectly, and that's our problem. You did ask. You snuck ask. You didn't just say directly, "I want this" or "I need this." And then when it comes up, "Well, I didn't." She didn't ask for it. Yes, she did. She brought it up. That's asking, as far as we're concerned.
And
If
he
not,
didn't
you
have to
would've
give her a red cent. He didn't.
But the
have
whole
to,
thing is, she didn't have to bring it up.
Nah, why you yelling,
Go get
man?
it done.
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
like-
I thought it was my mic. I'm sorry.
You
I'm sorry.
gave you a flashback. You gave up 300 for the oil
Nah,
change.
nah,
right.
You
No,
have a flashback.
I was just trying to be heard. I thought I couldn't be heard, but no,
Nah,
seriously.
you loud.
No, it's on you because I could barely hear him sometimes.
No,
Okay,
I had two problems with one, why is she going on that show telling her business?
Cause she's slow.
Oh yeah, that's the name.
Well,
That's
she,
it.
she probably got slow kids too, like Coach Burns.
Women nowadays don't try to take they off in silence. They don't. They go on the internet for someone to feel sorry for them, and so they can get fake advice from tonight's conversation.
And the second part I got is it doesn't matter like the way that she said it. That she did it with the bird call. The bird call was, "Hey, I'm about to go get my oil change," and that bird call means you're gonna offer to pay for it, and not meaning that. And instead of her just saying, "Hey, I'm going to get my oil change. It costs whatever it costs. Can you give me the money or send me the money for it?" That's all she had to do.
Okay, so now
Not all this back and forth.
Ladies, just ask for it. Just ask for the money. I need 150. My oil change need to be changed at 3:15 p.m. I need it by 3:15 p.m.
Well, Precious, let's add this though. But you got to add this. She's not. See, in that case, if she was just some random bust down and asked me that, that's one thing. But as my fiance, that's another thing.
So
right, so I'm not going to look at her some kind of way as my fiance. We have some history, we have something together, so it might not even seem that untoward for her to even ask for that, right? So it's up to me on how I take that. Is this woman a gold? If she's my fiance, I asked her to marry me. So from that standpoint, if she came and asked me for some ducats, $150, I'm not tripping. I'm not that I have a lot of money. I'm not tripping, okay? So, but if she was some chick that you met and we hanging out, we said, "Oh, hey, you know what? Before we go out, I need you to pay for my oil change." That's a whole different ball game.
Yes,
yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm just trying to put it into. So I'm not trying to paint the woman for asking in bad light. Is what is her position to me at the time she asks?
And at that time, she's his fiance.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trip over that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm only talking about for some men might. I'm just saying I won't.
Right, because again, and that's the point I was getting to earlier, is because he asked her to marry him, which means he is positioning her. He is choosing to position himself to be protector and provider, over her. That's
You're right over there, Coach.
That he is leading her in.
Yeah,
I believe she lying.
Oh my God!
No, I'm saying, listen. It's right. I don't think it's her fiance. I think it's just a dude she's giving the box to. She called him because okay, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm delusional about 40-year-old.
Keep on that thread. She's
okay. Because okay, so and this is what used to get me. Listen, before I was married, I was single and I was getting RICO'd and flued out. They was taking advantage of my handsome privileges. Yes, these women was taking advantage of my handsome privileges, and they was buying me chickens.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, but I keep all my receipts. I just don't show nobody. But but Precious, okay. We locked in. We in a relationship. We just But then all of a sudden we saying we gonna get married. So, and this is where I think our whole guys can be a little bit more diligent about it. Find out what that credit do. Find out what that bank account do. If she ain't letting you see what her financial statements stand, don't be trying to commit to that. So what I'm saying is, if I'm engaged, then I'm pretty much understanding my baby need her oil change. Listen, we gonna go get them both the same time. I go 1 week and I go the next week. A typical oil change anywhere is between $100 and $200 at max. That's with a high-end vehicle. Most people are driving around in Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys, and the oil change. And you can, Precious, you can go to Monarchy, you can go to Walmart, Anywhere they do an oil change, and Walmart oil change is $68, $70.
We don't even have Walmart oil change no more. A lot of them are going out of
But that's because
I go through a
get you.
drive-through. I go through a
Listen.
drive-through and get
You go to hold on. You go to one of them 5-minute oil changes.
Yep.
Yeah, they
So hold up, Precious. Now, so Jiffy Lube oil change in 2025, in 2025, 2026 is how much?
A what? A Jiffy Lube?
Yes.
Probably.
Probably
I mean,
around
all it
50.
is over $100. So
Okay. Over 100. Over 100 with taxes. Okay.
All that. Okay, so it's definitely if I need a new filter, it's for that.
Hold on. We ain't talking about filter. Well, they all filter. The filter come with the oil change.
They got to give you a new filter.
Yeah, they come with the oil change. So maybe with taxes, 110, 120.
No, you know how they slide them little extra charge.
Well, they gonna take advantage of a woman because they don't expect for y'all to know about a car anyway. That's why you take your brother, your cousin.
Man, I mean, I don't mind spending the money. The problem is, I don't like the manipulation. I don't like to be taken advantage of, and that's why I have so much pushback. You know, it's like, yo, I don't mind I'm like, yo, I probably will say to you, yo, you need to get your oil changed. Let's go do that, or let me go do that for you. I would probably offer it from that standpoint because I'll be aware of it because she's my fiance, and I don't want to have her out there. Yeah.
You ain't got no boys that can change oil that you can whip her right over a man after work and let him do it for $80, $70.
I mean, that's just how you're doing it. You know, I'm not. Yeah, I could do that, or I could go to Jiffy Lube, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, I would probably initiate. Yo, you need to get your oil changed. Let me go do that for you real quick. But the way that she did it to me is what I'm questioning. It's like, yo, you kind of like manipulative about it. And your pride is not allowing you to just ask, one. Two, then you're trying like Coach Ferg said, you're trying to what was the saying, Coach Ferg? Dry what?
Dry bag.
Yeah. You're doing that, and all of this is unnecessary for my fiance to be doing with me. Do it with them other cats before they cool, whatever. But you're my fiance. Why are you? And then you go on a show to get validation.
Exactly.
That right there is questionable in itself.
That's a whole nother show.
Why are you asking?
Right.
Never mind the show. If you asking anybody, well, he just gave me this amount of. What are you doing that for? If we're one,
That's why it's a lie. She's looking for validation from. Come on, Precious. Listen, the one group on YouTube that get all the females lying is that group right there. The one group she goes to advice about an oil change from her man. Come on, man. They was already trying to throw him under the bus.
You saw that there was only one person on there, and that was Mike, who pretty much was like, look, you already in, the relationship with him. He is offering you money. You're not fully his wife yet, but at least he put something towards it. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm surprised they let him up. I'm surprised he was on there. Usually they have nothing but simps on there. So I was surprised they had a guy like that up there. I think tonight
they have a couple of
he was on there before, then he sort of faded away, but then because one thing
I think the guests a lot are plants to start the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the last time they had the one guy say he didn't want to marry a woman with kids, and they beat the hell out of the guy. He just said, I prefer to have my own legacy. And by the time they were finished with him, man, he was like stripped raw. He was like flayed. I mean, the blood coming out of his pores and everything. I said, wait a minute.
With the labor, huh? He had the kids right there.
I said, wait a minute. He just said, I'd rather have my own. Oh, man, they ripped him a new one. Everybody on the panel said, oh, you're not man enough, blah, blah, blah. I hate that.
He needed therapy and everything.
So I said, this guy's a plant because if he wasn't mentally disturbed before he came on there, he was broken afterward. But I mean, saying so I see the chick saying what she said, but man, if I had a fiance that could come on there and said, I feel some kind of way because he didn't give me the whole thing, I don't think we'd be married. I don't think we'd be married. And I mean, of course, it's all anecdotal. I always say this. My wife was as happy about the car as she was about this little. She likes to drink tea, so I bought a nice little like Valentine's Day tea thing. It might have cost me $50, and she's oohing and ahhing over that, right? I called her. She's older, right? So one day I called her Fossil, right?
Oh my God.
But the thing is, I said, you know what? We all like a fossil, right? And so we laughing at it. So there's a watch company called Fossil.
Yeah, Fossil watches. Yeah.
So I bought her a little cheap watch that said Fossil, and she got it. And she read it. She just bust out laughing, because she likes to wear watches. So I don't know, man. You gotta read the room with the person you with.
Right. And because you can read the room, that's not manipulation. That's that's dwelling with the person that you're with and knowledge, literally taking note or turning jokes into gifts. Like, what I mean? It's something that worked both ways for you. Fossil was crazy.
Pressure, one of the easiest way women used to get men to pay all of it? Right in that moment, maybe the commercial, maybe halftime, maybe in the bed before you go to bed. Put something on his mind the next day. So when he's at work and you call him, hey, baby, the first thing in his mind, I'm good. What you need? What you need? What you need? You need your change? You need me to climb up on your roof? Because he's got the visual of what you earned the day before. This, hit him up on the way home in the car, in the new ride. You know what I'm saying? Make him run a red light or two, a stop sign or two. It's all worth it.
That's not only old school, that's new school. That's always of how women get their money from men. Like, that ain't never gonna go.
They're not using that technique no more.
No, they go on OnlyFans. And
she
y'all
going to
enough to send
Precious. No, Precious. She going to Sean for the oil change. She going to 3 a.m. to come over and fix the garage door. She got all pain to come through and cut the grass. And she got Nug, maybe me, and somebody else coming through and busting her down.
Y'all worried about that.
That's how they be moving.
Why are you worried about 6 other men, Coach?
No, I don't know. I don't know about her. Precious. What I'm saying is they don't know. We don't know about each other. I just see all pain on the lawnmower, like, he cutting the grass. I gotta
be the one cutting the grass. How come I can't be the one getting paid? You know what I'm saying? I gotta be the one.
Okay, I'm the one cutting the grass. All pain is sneaking through the back door, climbing out the window. You know what I'm saying? So it is. Women know what they're doing. Precious. These women are not children and clueless. They know exactly how they treating brothers, and brothers are becoming more aware of the strategies, right? And they ain't going for it. So take his little 100, call the other dude,
pay the other
50. And let him pay the 50. Because he'll do it. It's a simp out there that'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get, hey, how you doing, big head? Y'all know the saying. I was just thinking about you. I know your birthday coming up, but in the meantime, can I get 50? 100. Come on, man.
And see, because we're aware of it, this is why we're speaking to you guys, because maybe you think that we're not aware of it. Maybe you think that we aren't up on your abilities and your, I want to say, manipulation ways. But we are. We allow it because we like to see you on that chandelier. But the point being,
right? You got needs, she got needs.
Right. But But the whole thing is, you ain't on that chandelier, but you need that oil change. You ain't climbing up on that chandelier.
Say, y'all thinking about hood ratchet chicks in the projects. We're talking about the fiance.
Fiance should know how to get from the chandelier to the stairs in one swoop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Fiance, you're still learning this person.
Not as a
Y'all
fiance.
know
No.
20
You learn the
20
person. No, you learn the person before the engagement. If you don't know them by the engagement, that's your
It's
problem.
over.
You're
It's over.
always y'all. That's crazy because you're always learning a person.
I
So
mean,
don't think that
that's
you'll ever know anybody before you put
that-
before you ask them if you want to
that
be
comes. I agree. We
their-
all grow and we all learning
Yeah.
forever. I agree with that. We're not negating that, but it's still for you to propose. You should already know that
Know
person
her,
enough
yes.
to accept the proposal as well as to give the proposal.
Yeah, because
Right,
Precious.
and they want to be busting you down, and then after y'all get married, oh, this is not the same woman I knew,
But Precious.
same man that I knew.
But during
We
that
don't just say
engagement,
we don't just yeah.
we once we know each other, then we sort of
We
we should be changing together in the same direction. We should
Right.
be yes. Sean is right. I should know enough about you that I know you wear a size 6 underwear. I should know
Right.
enough about you that I know your ass. Every time you eat beans, you get gas.
You also know she has a vehicle and that she needs an
Oh,
oil
oh,
change, right?
and me as a man, it costs money to maintain change. You get an oil change 3 to 5,000 it depends on your vehicle, or 6 months, right? So within the 6 month frame, most people be engaged for a year, which I don't understand it. I know you need 2 damn oil changes because every week you trying to go to happy hour, run over your slow friend's house, run. You ain't really going to the grocery store, but you're trying to do shit, so you're getting up miles, right?
Who are these
So
women you be thinking about when y'all get
Precious, I'm talking about professional women. I'm talking about single women, because a single woman, the last thing she want to do is be in the house all day. A 30-something. I mean, when you get 40 and over, hold up, 40-year-olds, y'all old as hell. Y'all just think y'all young. Y'all old as hell. Your feet hurt when you get off work. Precious, come on, your bunions hurt, your back hurt. You old now. But if you outside, which she is outside, shaming her man, who at least gave her $100 on the look, he probably gave her $100 on the car, bought $100 worth of groceries, bought the little slow kid that can barely walk some Jordans.
know all that. Y'all are inflating this.
Don't let that go over your head.
So many
But,
things.
but he's a husband. He's a husband to be, so he takes on responsibilities.
Okay, so the 150 shouldn't matter, is what you're saying.
That's all your ass getting 100. You can stop, get the all and let me do it. It don't take long to learn. YouTube University teach a lot of niggas how to do stuff.
Even if he say that he can do it, great. Like you said, when you say you can do the oil change yourself, perfect. Like, you know what I mean? I think her issue is she's not seeing his value for who he is right in front of her, and that's her problem. Like, that's the problem that I have with her. If someone is adding value to you, then it's, you know, yes, are you going to think, okay, is he someone that, you know, wants to go partial with me? Are we going to have that? This is where those conversations probably need to happen in their personal lives. You know, if she has an issue with that, she probably should have went to him and said, I appreciate the $100. I just thought that maybe you would have given me the $150. Now, it sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but if that is her natural concern, then that is something that she should naturally talk to him about.
I agree.
Yeah, and I
should've
think it's
naturally asked
probably
She should've
happening
naturally asked
way
him for
before
the
this
oil change.
conversation. I'm gonna tell you this right
that's true.
now.
I think
It's
that
happening. You know, like
Yeah.
they're having conversations, and they ain't going the way she thought they was gonna go. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Here's my problem. I think a lot of modern people, not just the women, but because the men acquiesce to this thing too much. And I don't know if it's from the old time thing. There was never no such thing that is when we got married, my money is our money and your money is your money.
Your money,
That
never.
sounds like the craziest shit I ever heard. And when we start talking about the personification of just stupidity, when they started coming up with the 50-50, if we're married together, we have to have a financial conversation. We have to.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
don't care whether I could pay all the bills or not. If
Right.
you're making some money, you know, we got to decide what you're going to do with your money, just like we got to decide what I'm going to do with my money.
I agree.
You know, I mean, it's just but those conversations have been lost in social media, and it's I think it showed a couple of things. One, a lot of weak men, because any man who would agree with a woman that she could have all her money and he's going to just pay all the
He's a
bills,
fool. That's
he's
like
an
a
asshole.
fool. He's a fool. That's
Right?
what
Not that he
means.
needs some money. I mean, I just think, I got married in 87.
Damn.
Right? You know, and it's like we say it was more traditional back then, but my wife was working. She was making almost as much money as me. Right? And so when we got married, I said, okay, I got this relationship where I got a woman who's got money. It's gravy. We never lived beyond what I could afford.
Yep.
We never lived beyond what I could afford. And the money that she had, I didn't really trip over. She put some in the pot. I made a max out of her 401. It was a 457 plan. Max that shit out. At least. And that was enough for me. So I know that money wasn't going to just bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, I didn't really care about, well, I shouldn't say that. I didn't worry about.
Right.
So I mean, I just think about, and I only use this anecdotal stuff because it's weird. When our first apartment together, it was in a bad neighborhood, and the roof of the building we were renting apartment in had a hole in it. We had squirrels running across our goddamn drop ceiling. I mean, they were in there and squirrels would run across there. Every so often, a squirrel would fall through because they're heavy. I had to. It was.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
In the Bronx, where the
Based
pain
off this
progress.
scenario, right? Because we seen how what the questions she asked. We seen she's explained what he's willing to pay. Would y'all agree that if they was to get married, he's already setting the example to be a 50-50 relationship?
No, I think, well, let me just answer real quick. First of all, I would hope they would never use that term.
Okay, but
I'm just saying, that's a modern term for the idiots who run social media now.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
If you're actually in a relationship and we're both making money, I don't care what you call it. You shouldn't have a dividend. You got to both be putting 100% of everything you got into the relationship.
Yeah.
And the money thing you have a conversation about. Right?
Yes.
And whatever agreement you come up with, that's how you live.
Agree, because here's a spin on it. Suppose
it's as simple as that. Yeah, I think we complicate it too much. And there's too many women who think that men should pay for everything and they could just eat bonbons and shit. And that's it. And then there's too many men who acquiesce to that.
To that shit. Yeah, those are baby mama.
I had a couple of women about, before I got married, I had a few, excursions with some honeys. I have never found a woman that was so good that I would turn into a goddamn idiot for the rest of my life. Come on.
Let me ask you, put this spin on it. Suppose when y'all met, she was making more money than you.
I would have no problem with that.
No, I'm saying, so what happens in that scenario as far as that financial conversation that you're talking about?
We would have a conversation because at some point back then, women used to want to have children. They used to want to have families. So at one point, she was making a lot of money. Most of the people who were making money, they were changing hours for dollars. Right? They didn't have things where the money was residual. So at some point, that money, that allure that she was making so much money with might go away because she wants to have kids. So I would say some way, shape, form, or fashion, we would have buffered our relationship to where if she had to take a year off or 2 years off, my wife had to take 4 years off where I was the only breadwinner. 4 solid years before she found. But our lifestyle didn't go down. I didn't get a lot of new cars and all that. But I'm just saying, it was just a mindset. I'm not even that brilliant. I just thought that, hey.
You're saying there was no chandeliers.
Women are unpredictable, right? So I just say, when they decide some shit, you got to be prepared for it. I mean, women come up and say, I don't feel like working no more.
Just off the top of waking up in the morning, coming up with shit. You're like,
hey, what you gonna do? You know, so I don't know. I don't know where I got it from, but thank God I had some kind of wisdom even as a young guy. You know, and the only receipt I have is that we're still married. That's the only, and I got 2 daughters, man, that maybe a little too self-sufficient.
We're gonna get into that, R-Pain. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm going dry bag a little bit, you know. let's do it, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and engage. I will drop the link. You know, I forgot to do that while we were having our conversation here.
That was
if anybody wants to join the show, I'm dropping the link, and you do have to be watching from my YouTube channel to access the link. But guys, if you want to throw it in your nope, I'm keeping it right on my channel because I don't know, y'all be having some crazies linked to y'all channel. I don't got time.
It'll be Sean over with them.
Huh?
I'll be having them little strange people come through.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Guilty as charged. Come on over here, and I'll let you know if you can come on up or not.
Guilty as charged. Go to Precious page and come on.
Yeah.
Get my page low.
But we're gonna get into the second video because the second video is just as interesting as the first one. Now, this is a guy who pretty much said he's giving advice to men in regards to women who pay bills. Let's get into it. Oh, you trying to call me?
Me, guys, women, or anybody. If she pay bills and she still come home to you, she want to be with you. But what I'll tell somebody young and upcoming about this 50-50 and relationships and type of stuff, when you first meet a chick, first of all, this is the first thing. When you first meet a chick and y'all getting tight and y'all getting close and y'all move in together, make that bitch pay some bills. Make that young lady pay some bills. And let me tell you why. Before y'all judge me, guys, women, or anybody, if she pay bills and she still come home to you, she want to be with you. Yeah. If she don't pay no bills, she can be done with you and over you, and she'll still come home to you because you take care of her. Yeah. That's where her stuff at.
We're going to stop it right there because I think this video is like 4 minutes long, maybe 5 minutes long. So what do you guys think about that so far? If a woman is paying bills and in the home that you both live in, that means that she wants to be with you. Do y'all believe that? Are y'all co-signing to that rhetoric?
That's
well, it sounds like rhetoric, but I mean, listen, I mean, at least it's pointing to the fact that she's there for more than just for you to take care of her, right? Well, to go full-fledged and say she's just there for me, I don't know if it's a respite, but there's something about you that she thinks that's worth being there with you. You could at least come to that conclusion, or else she wouldn't be there. Right, so she's willing to pay a little bit of bills to stay in the house with you, and the rest of the relationship is moving forward. Then you know she kind of appreciates who you are a little bit. I think if she didn't, she would probably find a different thing, something else to do. You know, I think women are pretty. You know, as crazy as y'all are, you guys are pretty deliberate in the shit that y'all do sometimes.
Yeah, and she
you know, so I don't put anything. Yeah, you know, my problem is I have maybe too much of a healthy respect for womankind. I don't look at you guys as this dainty little flower shit that we got to do. No, women are cunning and all this kind of shit, man. And men sit there fat, dumb, and happy thinking we getting over. I'm just thinking, all right. I have, you know, so I feel I have a nice appreciation for womankind.
Pain, man. Listen, I know you're over tapping yourself on the shoulder, telling yourself that.
Of course.
But yeah, all right.
Yeah, sure. My wife manipulated me into a 38-year.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I saw the wedding video. I don't know. You ain't look manipulated. You look like you was having a good time. You look like you was down for the ride. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
He had
Yes,
a
I
fro. He had his fro. He was looking sharp on that
I
day.
was a halfway good looking dude, man. And when I look at my younger pictures, I said, man, I left a lot on the table, man. I left a lot on the table.
Well, I'm glad she took you off the streets, Arpay, before you got out here in the streets.
And I haven't forgiven her for that since.
Yeah.
Oh Lord Jesus! You bought her a new car. You forgave her pretty good, didn't you?
Anyway, enough
We
about
now
that.
know the real story.
But
You brought a new.
I think the guy has a little bit of a point. Definitively, 100%. I think I'm leaning in what he said is true.
Okay. So y'all believe y'all leaning into
Always get 20.
the statement that if a woman chooses to pay bills, then she's there for you and not just there for what you have.
Or if they have kids
Especially in
together.
this day and age.
But if she have kids there, then yeah, she'll more than likely contribute something. Because they want their kids to make sure they can eat and buy their little fake Jordans and all the little skinny jeans her son want. So they'll contribute to that type of stuff. But
Yeah, but you adding the kids though. He didn't say that.
I know
That's a very good point, though.
But it's a
but
good
if she,
point.
You know, they like to add stuff.
but okay.
I mean,
But
the woman, the peep, like, all right, now y'all adding stuff.
But I agree with our pain though, and what the guy said. If she's paying bills and she's coming home to you, yeah. But outside of that, more than likely, they're gonna have a child there that he's gonna be a stepdaddy to.
No. You know, you can't. I mean, I hear you, but you added
All right.
scenario.
You have a child by a woman, she gonna pay something.
Put women in this box and they just get out that box.
She gonna pay something.
What's interesting?
You don't have a
Interesting about what he's saying. But what's interesting about what he's saying is there's some relevance to it because a lot of the women who are willing to pay in the household usually do have children.
Yeah, but that wasn't the scenario was about.
I know, Arpane. I'm just thinking she look. You know, some of these women.
Why wouldn't she want to pay if she has a child? Like, why is that not logical though? If she has a child,
Asked
why
her.
wouldn't she be paying anything?
Women say they
No,
want a
we
man to
agree
pay
with-
for everything with 2 kids. They got 2 or 3 kids.
You're defeating your argument because if there was a kid in the house, then she might not want to be because of you. It's because the kid got a place to stay. So
Right.
now that takes care
That's
of
why I
whether
said-
she likes you or not. So
But it might not be
That's
for
why I said-
that.
That's why I said it's a relevant point that we should kind of consider or evaluate because those who don't have it are the ones who we out here arguing with.
Yeah, but that wasn't what the guy said. We got to stick on what the evidence the guy have. You're changing the scenario. If the chick comes home to you and she's willing to pay the bills, just you and her, which there are some relationships where there's no kids involved, by the way.
Right.
You know, and so can you infer that woman not only is willing to pay bills, that she actually likes you a little bit, and that's the key.
And that's what he's saying,
Yeah,
right?
we agree. We agree with that.
All right.
But those kids,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's where stuff at.
But if she pay bills and still choose you, she
Yeah.
want to be with you, my boy.
Yeah,
And another thing, some more game for Elaine.
yeah.
Never tell a woman what you want, what you
Right.
expect. Don't never tell them none of that. If you a man that got a Benz, Cartier,
Yeah.
Rollie, podcast, you got your life together, you living in a high rise, you get into to the bag and people know you having it.
Yeah, like a rapper dude or something.
A real estate dude, a dude with a 6-figure income that with a job, like whatever,
Yeah,
drug deal.
yeah.
A woman see that you really having it and you him, she'll pretend to be the perfect
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, damn sure seen that a couple
If
times.
you
boy.
tell her, yeah, man, you know, I want a woman that's gonna this and you know that for me and that's gonna make me feel like this, and
Yeah.
a woman that's into this and into that. Oh boy, she finna form herself into exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The yeah man is killing me. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. I said, yes, man. Yeah.
So, yeah. He definitely has a yes man. But is that the way that guys operate when it comes to dating and especially, you know, we know about the Kendra G shows and the, you know, back in the day, the Kevin Samuels and this high value man and, you know, all those talking points that just flooded social media. But is that how men carry themselves? Men who, you know, are affluent or have a lot of income coming in? Do men, are men more so carrying themselves that way, or are they leading with their wallet?
Every man who leads with his money ends up getting his ass kicked. Every man who leads with his money with a chick ends up, and I say every, okay, there might be some exceptions, but if you lead with your money, you have no idea why that woman's with you, and you end up getting your ass kicked, right? I mean, we could just go down the list. I mean, there's old times, new times, and right now. They got an NFL receiver. He married this. He got with this chick, had a baby in 2 years. She wants $40 million. You know, no prenups, no nothing. Men are idiots when it comes to women. Just absolute idiots. And it just no, you know, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. We're just idiots. I'm serious. I don't know how often I have to keep saying it because there's just too much receipts and evidence that we're jackasses when it comes to women. You know, and it's the great man who can, you know, break out of the mold and actually make a good decision about a honey once in a while. You know, but for the most part, especially if you're an entertainer, a rapper, and all, it's idiots. But anyway, so let's get back on the point. The guy's right. You can't lead with all of that stuff because now, you know, the woman makes a business decision, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to an emotional decision about you. She's making a business decision. And let me also tell you, Precious, women make business decisions about the men they want all the time. All the time.
No matter what level
it's
you're
not
at.
always
Yeah.
nefarious, by the way.
Mhm.
It's not always nefarious. It's like, you know what? This guy, you know, if I put my practical hat on, I want Joe Blow, right? Because he has all of these things that he's not my favorite, but I can live with that. Or if I go to, are you into comic books? There was Scott, who was the Cyclops, and it was Wolverine, and they both loved Jean Grey. Jean Grey loved them both, but she was attached to Scott because he was the good guy, the leader. But she probably busted out the Wolverine. But every so often, a woman doesn't want to be pounded to death. So when she wanted to be pounded to death, she went to the Wolverine. So his claws are out and he's knocking it out. But when she wanted a calm living, she was with Scott Grey. You know, and that's the difference, you know. So they make these decisions. I'll marry Scott, but every so often I'm gonna sneak to Wolverine to get my black bird flown out. You know, I love women, God damn it.
I think you're
Okay, you keep going.
you know, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that, you know, the nature of a woman, a woman is going to go where she feels secure in a certain area in her life. And if one man can't do it, another man is going to fill that spot of getting those things done. So I don't disagree with you. I think that's just the nature of a woman, just wanting that protection, period, by any means necessary. Or security, I should say, protection, security, however you want to spend it. All right, so we're going to keep going. This video is almost over, unless somebody else wants to jump in about.
Nigga, Coach, go crazy down here. What you got to say, Coach?
Give me 1 minute. Most, and I ain't gonna say most. It's a lot of women who make calculated decisions when it comes to having a baby. They want the dude that they want to have the baby with. So they'll go in there calculating, knowing that nobody's going to use protection, and they'll bust it wide open for him, knowing that he ain't shit because he wasn't shit 2 weeks before you met him, a month. They know these things, but he got the good hair and the pretty eyes, and so I'm gonna have a baby by him. They know what they doing. Women know when y'all ovulate, y'all count that shit down. Okay, this Wednesday I'll be ready, so let me call the pretty dude. But in the meantime, Sean gonna come through and cut this grass, and I'm gonna talk to him on the porch. He ain't even coming into the house. They know. They listen. Like Albie said, the athletes are some of the dumbest dudes with money. These women knowing who they gonna get with. They know they show up ready.
And the darker they are, the stupider they are.
The stupid, and don't let her be light skinned. Oh, it's over.
The darker the athlete is, the
one thing in life, and I can be wrong, the one thing in the history that got a black man up in arms ready to do something strange is a woman's monkey. He'll bust the windows out your car. If they did it to Adam, they're gonna always do it to us. What are we talking about?
Hey, 3 a.m. We too hard on them 3 a.m. or we being too hard on the men or what, man?
No, it's the biggest downfall of the man. Like, especially people who got money. You know, like these athletes and these superstars, and I mean, look at Zion Williamson. Like,
Jesus
that girl was taking him to court every other month. You know, was it Anthony Edwards that played for the Timberwolves?
He's such an idiot.
Tyreek Hill.
Brown skin.
Yeah.
All them brown skin, dark skins, they all got a almost white light skin. Get you a sister like Precious to get a little rust on the elbows. They'll calm you down. They'll level your head, but you don't want them. It's too hard of a job to work.
Anyway, so my man is saying a lot with his little piece there. I think he's touching on a lot of things.
Yeah, I think he maybe has one more point in this in this video.
Any woman to change who she is for the nigga who having it. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't tell a woman what you want and what you expect and what you need from her, and you just be quiet and just watch her,
Yeah.
she can't be nobody but who she is.
Yeah.
She can pretend to be what she think you want, but if you pay attention close enough, you can see and spot all them flaws. Let her be herself.
Right.
You get it?
Well, that's a good one.
I mean, I agree with him to a certain extent.
Why you say that?
Because you do have to communicate the things. I mean, again, men bring women into their worlds, right? And so, you know, you do have to be communicative about how you want your world to look and the things that you want in your world and the things that you are going to tolerate and the things that you're not going to tolerate. Yes, you're going to observe her. Yes, you're going to, you know, see what motivates her, what drives her, what moves her. But you just can't say, oh, well, and of course, if you're supposed to let her be who she is, right? And then you decide if you want that woman in your world or not. But I think that you do have to, you know, communicate certain things. It's not just all about money. It's not all about you having 1 million followers or driving a Porsche. It's not just all about that. It's the man too and the woman. So I think that he has a point because I'm an observer. So I get what he's saying, right? You have to kind of hush your mouth a little bit to kind of see who a person is without you saying those things. But at some point, you're going to have to open your mouth and communicate your expectations. And
I agree with that. I mean, listen, I mean, again, you can, I think all of us can go from an anecdotal standpoint. I mean, it's funny, I had that very conversation with my fiance when she was my fiance. We were talking, I remember these things. It's crazy. We were talking about something. She got upset. She said, you know, I'm putting my best foot forward so we can get to know each other. And I said, let me stop you right there. I don't want to see your best foot. I want to know when your feet stink. I want to know when your feet stink and whether I could live with that shit or not. You know, I remember having that conversation with him. You know, so you're right. You know, so we go down that path. You be you, I be me. And the things that we can't deal with, let's talk about them when they come up.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And your wife could have just meant like I'm putting my best foot forward, meaning like I'm gonna actually put some effort into this. Like
Well,
a lot
nah,
of women,
I hear you, but that's not what she meant.
Just
That's
don't
not what
want
she
to.
meant. That's not what she meant. She was giving me. It was. Oh, let me take that back. That might have been part of what she meant. The other one was she was also giving me her representative.
Right, and you,
And I didn't want
look,
that.
I want the real you, right?
Yeah,
And, you know, a lot of times it's like women don't even nowadays. Women don't even want to go through the efforts of getting to know people, and I think that it's the same with the
That's
men.
why I'm so happy that's why I don't envy none of you new people, man.
So Precious, what do they want? Precious, if they don't want to get to know, man, what they looking for? Money.
Peace and quiet.
They're looking for money.
Okay, that's what they look for.
Most women don't be most women don't be quiet until they got some money in their hands.
I mean, nowadays women have jobs, Coach Burke. They're not working on the farm picking cotton.
Yeah.
You having jobs? They have jobs, Fresh. Yeah,
women have jobs too.
A lot of black Precious.
Work, right? She got something to do. She got something to keep her busy. Women need something to keep them busy, but it's not always the goal. Is not always a man anymore. Because
Right, but
busy, I'd rather be busy on my own terms.
Oh, shit. Precious. Okay, the misnomer is black women have always been able to work as long as they've been in America. Because before they was actually able to go out and get corporate jobs, they was cleaning these nasty white women's houses. What we talking about?
But they were also they were also with men, right? And marriage. And then we have a whole bunch of things that tore our communities apart. Also, a lot of women didn't have rights. They didn't have the opportunities that they have today. And so in today's world, yes, women are going to work. They're going to, yes, they want money if it comes for a man or if it comes from them being able to acquire it. Everybody want money, right? Doesn't everybody want money? Why is that just a woman thing? Don't you want money? Don't everybody want money?
But there's levels to it. As us being old and over 40, yes, you want money. You need money.
Right. So that
it.
woman is going to work for it because at that age, what else are you going to do unless
Precious.
you get your coochie out here?
When you get paid, give me your check and I'll give you what I think you need for the month.
And what's the reason for that?
Because if a man is going to be the head of the household, I'll give you your allowance to handle it. Can you deal with that? Can you handle that, Precious, when you get paid?
Yeah, if I decide that.
No. Can you handle that? That's the law of the land. Can you handle it?
Yes, if that is what we're doing, and if that's the leadership of the household that we're in, yes. But at the end of the day, women make their own money. I don't understand why that is not acknowledged as.
So women make their own money. Made their own money in the past. That's why listen, I know that the bank account shit and all that, but my aunts, they all had pensions. They all worked. I'm not from an upper class family. All worked. The reason why our family survived is because my aunt's sisters got together and bought a house in the Bronx where there was fruit trees and shit and took us out of the deepest, darkest place in Harlem. It was the women. And they had a couple of them had husbands, a couple of them didn't. They got together and they moved by. My aunt, my guardian, after a while, she became a manager, and a lot of them worked for the phone company and shit like that. They had real jobs. Even them, they got married. Their husband had jobs. They had jobs, and they shared expenses. They had their children and all the support system that the Gen Zs and the millennials and all that shit comes from those peoples and those relationships, right? And so what I'm saying is women always had jobs. The thing that's different is they had a different respect for men.
No,
women had a different appreciation for men in their lives.
Yes.
It's not just about the money. Today, women think because I have money that men don't mean shit. That's not true. I mean, it's
Right.
true for some of the women, and
They
they're
pay
all
for
on
everything for us. I don't understand.
Okay.
Like
Okay,
what?
here's the divide.
Pay
Here's the
for everything
divide.
then.
Here's the
They
divide.
pay for it. Why
Problem
we got to
is-
pay for everything then?
You
The problem
don't. We
is-
Oh no, maybe
The
I
pro-
misunderstood what you
the-
said.
the problem
I don't
is
think
when
the
men make money,
Yes.
they provide for the woman. But when women make money, they don't want to provide for a man, and that's where we have a significant
it's not,
divide.
well, they don't have to provide for the men.
No,
Yeah.
my
They have
point
to-
isn't.
they-
I-
they-
Provide
it
for the
isn't about-
house.
Yeah,
It's-
that's the
village.
point. Men
Well, my
don't-
point being
Village.
is that's fine. My point being is that their mentality is different. This is why the equality division comes in place, is because often they're like, well, I make my money too. But the difference is when you make your money, it's all about you. When we make our money, it's all about you.
Yeah, but it's not. The money is the. I don't know how to say it. It's not the. It's not the well, I want to say it's not the object, it's not the purpose. The point really is that the mindset of the women has been ruined. Okay, because a woman who makes a lot of money, she's not satisfied unless the guy she's with makes as much as her plus $1. And if he makes $1 less, all of a sudden, he's not good enough for her, because women have this quote unquote bullshit about marrying down based on economics. Men have no such governor. We marry down all the time.
Pain.
We
leads to the
don't
point
even
that I
call
was
it
making.
marrying down.
You're right.
Right?
That-
Most
that-
men marry the women they
Some of
fall
you
in love with.
Some of you marry up.
yeah.
Well,
And-
very
yeah,
few
yeah.
men marry up.
Let's be honest.
Very few.
Very
Very
few
few. Precious.
men
Oh,
marry
oh,
up.
only
because
the
women
good-looking
who are
ones like
up there
Coach
don't
Furr.
want them. When you say men marry up, very few men, especially economically,
Yeah,
marry
very
up
few.
because the women who are up there reject the men who don't make the money.
And
Right.
those men, yeah.
Or
He's a
it could
great
be a
guy.
business,
No,
it could be
yeah.
a business related. Like people, I just
Oh,
don't,
this
I don't know if
is-
I don't think it's love and marriage in these times. It's more of money and marriage. I don't think it's love and marriage.
For the women, it's not love and marriage.
Yes.
It's money and marriage. For men,
Right.
it's always love. We're
Right.
the romantic ones. And you guys
Yes.
don't give a
I
shit
hear
about
you.
that.
I hear you. but-
Precious, what do you think women worked at before the age of automation? I was coming into, our pain was a little bit before me, so I was coming right out into the real world of the age of automation, right? Meaning prior to you sit with your fake nails and type on your little keyboard that smell like corn chips all day because you've been eating, dropping crumbs. Most women had to go work in a factory. Men understood the dangers of working in old factories. They understood the strength that it took. So, hey, baby, go sit down in the house and make sure the kids can read and my son ain't too fat. But then with the age of automation, you can go sit in the office, because most women want to be in the air so they won't sweat their weave out. They want to be in the air looking cute so they can wear their fake heels and their little too tight dress, right? But this is where we've evolved to. Men have made it so comfortable for the women that women think that they have the upper hand, when really we have supplied all of this, and now we running behind the women say, baby, please, just give me $20 on the light bill. No, this is my money. I work for it. So we sort of set ourselves up in this predicament. And a 40-year-old sister, she ain't going back to what she used to be, because she's a new person now. But hey,
it's so funny. It's a
new
never-ending story, and none of it really bodes well for mankind. Not if unless there's a sea change. I mean, I'm not the one to bring it. It's for young people to decide. Listen, you know what? We're better together, as opposed to being beholden to the commercialites who run everything and need us to be separate so they can have multiple incomes to pick from.
Yes.
So nothing better or more commercially viable than separate households.
Yes.
And
single men are better apart than to get with a woman who's only with you for you support her, and she's not going to pour into you. That's not a stress most modern men want to take on going today because we're going to but a lot of men elevate over time. See, people think they can become all these rich people at 22, 23, and a nigga don't even know his multiplications up to 12. But then as he put in the work, it's going to by default increase, but then more men become more aware of how they spend their money. So a woman can call you broke just because you don't want to go out in the middle of the month and spend $400 on a steak the size of the palm of your hand, and she eating the steak, but her kids at home smelling like booger juice. We got to get our priorities straight. So I'll shut up.
But I mean, those are
Booger
the
juice, that's
women
funny.
that you shouldn't want nor even waste your breath on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just sometimes we talk about the women that you're just not attracted to in the first place. Like, you know, they're not the women that you would want to go after.
Precious, those be the finest women, the ones that's out here struggling. They got the body. Oh my God. That's why these dudes get caught up.
How many do you know, Coach? How many? Let me know. Like,
Say it again.
How many women? Personally, how many good, nice body, nice looking women do you know personally struggling that just, you know, want to take a man out and get a
but okay, so I know a couple. I ain't gonna say how many, but I know some, right? But those women understand. They in a position to understand that the dude that want to get next to her, he's like Arpain said, he gonna leave with his money.
Right. And he's going to take her for everything that she got because he knows she want her money, so he don't mind giving the money for a little bit of coochie. It's just a part of the game, Coach Ferg. Why is this something that we have to discuss? That's not the business. Like, they're not in the business of doing that.
And you know, it's so funny. You guys,
that's part, right? That's part of their survival. So if it's part of your survival, that's not the kind of woman you want to
survival. Is that what we
know? So you guys know that I do the AI thing. So I got a new one. It's called "Do You Want to Be a Husband's Wife?" Or
I saw that.
A husband's wife or a chick's hoe. And you know, so I mean, I love this stuff. Anyway,
those are not women who want to settle down with a man. Those are not women who actually want.
And the unfortunate thing is a lot more women who don't want to settle down with a man under any circumstances. So this whole thing about decentering men and all this kind of stuff, there's two facets of women who do that. Now, I could probably dive deeper into this one. It's when a younger woman has a kid out of wedlock. I think as she gets older, the need for a solid companion in her life is not as much as a woman who didn't hit that biological imperative. A lot of women, depending on their family structure, just when they have kids out of wedlock, they experience, and they got a family intact, they experience arrested development, not destruction. Like if you wanted to go to college, you wanted to be a professional, having a kid out of wedlock, if you have the family structure in place, still allows you to do it. Maybe it's just 4 or 5 years later. So you could become successful and be a parent and move along. And so your standards could remain higher than they could be if you were a person without that and desperate and all that shit.
Right.
And so that's why I'm saying there's a difference between a 40-year-old woman with kids by herself than a 40-year-old woman who's never had kids. They're not in the same space. They're not.
I agree.
But I mean, true, but you know, we just at different times where women, you know, like you said,
let's talk about right now. Forget about the past. Let's talk about modern time. Right now.
Right.
We're gonna find more 40-year-old women without kids who reflect on their lives with more regret than the ones who've had kids out of wedlock, because we can't belittle the biological imperative. Women might want to do that, but it's not true. If you had a couple of kids, and especially when you get to the point where you know the door is actually closing and you didn't hit it. I can't really speak for a woman there, but for them to say they don't go through some kind of awakening that I blew something in my youth, I would say they would be lying. I don't say their life should be over and destructive, but you got to go through something. You got to go through something, you know, and it could, you know, and how you deal with it depends on your support system. So that's why I don't equate a woman with a kid who never got married, but they got a kid or two. They never got married, but they got that family. They got somebody to see that's gonna live past them. You know, somebody who's gonna love them in their old age and all that kind of shit. A woman who never does that, and a man for that matter, but it's different for a man. It's different. We're not the same. The way we process older age is not the same.
Well, let me ask you.
Women are more social, so even if they don't have any kids themselves, they probably have some kind of social circle that gives them some solace, right? You know, men will just fade off into that sunset, with maybe if they had a frat. I don't know. I'm rambling. That's not the whole point of this thing. But you know, I think that our relationships are different. I think women are shortchanging themselves. Now, every woman doesn't have to have a kid. Every woman, but I think the reason why women are closing themselves off is not organic. It's based on propaganda and feminism and shit like that, because our natural instincts, men and women, is to be together. That's why we talk about it all the time.
I think, and this is something I want to ask y'all before I go. I think that a lot of the reasons why women have a tendency to not want to get into long-term relationships under those circumstances is because they don't want to be told what to do. Period. They want to do. They have. Yeah, after 40, they just basically are like, they have adjusted to a lifestyle, and changing that adjusting to a new lifestyle, or being told what you should or could do, and having to answer to anyone other than yourself, is something that's just not appealing to them after that age.
I think I don't know. I think it's the same for men and women. I mean, if you live alone long enough, it is going to be hard for a man or a woman to adjust to partnership with
I agree with that.
Yeah, like I think it's just human nature.
I think it's different.
You're not gonna want to separate it.
But the reason why I say that, Precious, is because I think men have a tendency to consider what our women want and make an adjustment accordingly. Whereas the other way around, it's not usually as embraced.
Yeah, but you gotta show them. But you gotta understand that if a woman who's older, just like a man who's older, if they actually want to be in a relationship, they gotta understand that there's gotta be compromises on both sides.
Right.
They understand that. I think they're gonna have to understand that.
You're really only going to do that for someone that you truly love. Like, you're not gonna, that you're willing, that you're legit choosing to put before yourself.
Well,
right?
Highway said something. Highway said something that there's more women over 40 having kids now than younger kids. But that proves my point. That a lot of women are saying, shit, you know what? I'm gonna forego marriage. I can't wait for the right man. I can't wait for this. I'm looking at my clock close. And you really, let's face it, with modern medicine and all that, even though you're in geriatric pregnancy, women can still have kids in their 40s. It's not ideal, but it's happening. But I'm thinking those decisions are made based on the fact that they know the door is closing. I had a girlfriend of mine, my one girlfriend, she was like 37. The guy broke her heart. She went to a sperm bank to have kids because she wanted kids. She waited to the last minute and she went to a sperm bank, and now she's got her daughter married and all that kind of shit. We stay in contact,
Well, you looking like that, Precious?
Huh?
I'm looking at Precious' face.
Well, a sperm bank and just get someone's sperm to have a child.
That's what she did.
IVF.
She
No.
actually she got twins.
Is that
by
fair
the
for
way.
the child?
Sperm just
Well,
shot.
of course. Huh?
Is that fair for the child?
Well, you know, Ebony K. Williams is trying to make that shit, but she didn't.
Join us
And
on
that doesn't
Tuesday
make it
next
fair.
time.
That makes it very. That's a good
Excuse me,
example of
join-
what's not good for a
What
child.
does fair have to do
Join us
with
on Tuesday nights for those type of conversations.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what fair has to do
Going,
with it.
yeah, like it's a choice that are available to women.
That's right.
Fair or not is not up for discussion. Now, I think somebody asked, would I do it? No. Okay, there's enough men out here that if I needed some sperm,
And you know what? Your DMs are fun. Yeah, I can't imagine what your DMs look like right now. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
dry. If you really want to look, I'll show you. They're dry. I don't put myself. I don't
Okay.
parade around like, oh my god, pick me.
All right. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I gotta go because I'm going to DM. I'm going to DM Precious. So, y'all have a good one. Thanks for having
Peace
me.
out, Sean, man.
Take it
All right,
out.
have a
Take it
good
easy.
one.
Bro.
Precious, that's why I said a lot of women.
I don't know why. Like, I don't know the assumptions when it comes to me. Like, oh, your DMs must be jumping. No, I stay black. I go to work. I don't put myself out there like, come for me.
Okay, Precious, listen. Stay in your little box. Stay in your box. Like a lot of y'all, it's like I call it the prime, right? Because everybody's third eyes open, everybody's gaining the wisdom, but y'all can't find each other for nothing out here. I don't understand that.
Well, how do you know be found? I don't want to be found. How about
but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so intentionally not wanting to be found, right? But here's the thing: you're not taking on a selfish mindset, because most women intentionally don't want a man, but intentionally will risk having a high risk pregnancy and then complain and can't a lot of them can't handle that pressure if the baby come out with 2 left feet. See, they don't want that. They want the idea of a baby when it's a baby, but a lot of women struggle in providing a young person the emotional growth and confidence that they need. We hear these stories all the time. One thing about black folk, we ain't gonna talk about our mamas. Our mamas be the main ones that guide us to become degenerates, because you look like your daddies and act like your mamas. And if your mama was out there, your mama's still running through the streets fighting, your ass is gonna be a degenerate. You're gonna get a poor diet. You ain't gonna have you're gonna have emotional issues. Listen, these are things that came before me. I'm just saying what I used to read, the reports we used to get based off the numbers of who these children actually were. What's it called? Well, in layman's term, raised by. Who raised you? But I'm so selfish in what I want. F the kid. This is what I want. I don't care if the daddy ain't around. I want a baby. That's why your daddy ain't around. Why would you tell a kid your daddy ain't around, your daddy ain't shit, and he's a boy? You're already programmed them to think less than. And
yeah, I definitely don't agree with that. We talk about that with adoption and foster care. Like, if just because you can't have kids and things like that, that's not necessarily a reason to go and adopt one. Just because you're not in a relationship at a certain age, that's not the reason to go and go to a sperm bank because you feel like you missed out on something, in life. You should want to have a child because you want to give love to a child and you want to develop that child and pour into them, have resources and things of that nature, but not because although we've come to
wait a minute though, Precious.
Like,
Not the end of the road.
Came to the end of the road. Like, no.
Is that fair though, Precious, for a woman who wants to have a kid though to go to a sperm bank because at the prospects of meeting somebody and falling in love and having an organic kid is less, especially if they don't have one. I mean, I'm sounding like I'm protecting my buddy, right? a chick I knew since she was 18. Her family was huge, right? They have this like whole family thing. I would imagine the pressure she had. And she fell in love with this dude who strung her ass along for 7 years.
Did he?
And I told her from into the late 20s into the 30s. And I had told her, I said, this guy don't really love you. You know, I said, he doesn't, you know what I mean? Because we had those kind of conversations. Turns out that when he moved in with her, blah, 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 he's from his Navy. She finally thought she was having, he started a family across town. And when she found that out, she was devastated. So I'm thinking in her mind, she's saying, how would I finally find a guy I could actually trust again after that kind of trauma at 36, 37 years old? And so she told me what she was going to do. And I didn't know I didn't talk her out of it. And I just listened to her. And she actually went to the bank and do all this stuff. You look through the book and say, this asshole looks pretty good. What's his vial number 93 or whatever the hell it is? And she got turkey basted. You know, she got twins out of it. Your oldest daughter's married now.
Twins?
Yeah, and the son's doing his thing, graduating from college. And the thing is, she had an infrastructure of family support, so she didn't have to raise those kids by herself. You know, and so, but I think I just think that.
So how does that work with the sperm bank? Like, you know, Mom, who's my dad? Like, how does that work? Like, how
yeah, you know, I hear you. Those are the kind of things, and especially from where you're coming from, because it's a natural conversation.
So, you know, you said that she has the family support. So I'm sure that she has males in place to, you know, be like father-like figures, and then it's twins after that. Like, it's not just one, it's two children, you know, that came from the same, you know, sperm. Like, you know what I mean? So it's that's
old school West Indian family support all around her. And somehow she was, you know, I never heard any hardship from her at all raising those kids. She continued to work. Matter of fact, I think she's just getting ready to retire. And
she knew what she wanted. But you know, when you say that he strung her along for 7 years, like, you know what I mean? Like, did he string her along? I think that women should understand that, you know, after a certain amount of years, I mean, 3 max to me. Three is the max number that you can say, oh yeah, I want to be with you, I want to marry you, I want you to be my da 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 da. And after that 3rd year, if you don't do nothing, like, you have, as a woman, you got to make a decision about your own life. It's not even about him anymore, honestly.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you, but you know, it's not like she was the exception. You know, we've got millions of stories of men, you know, and some men will say, well, she strung me along too. I said, it's not the same for men, right? Because we have a different clock.
Yeah, you have a different clock than women. So, you know,
so I told my daughters and every woman I knew after that thing, and said, listen, if this, especially for me, I got engaged to my wife after 5 or 6 months. It don't take that long.
Right.
It really doesn't. If you make a decision about a certain person, you know, we didn't get married till like maybe almost 12 months later on, or some little less than that, but still. We started courting almost right away from the first date we had. But so, yeah, I felt, you know, so it's funny, that whole story that you can't have a platonic friend. There you go. That's my one female platonic friend that I have.
Right, but do you ever see her ever?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
That's why
I know where she's at. We talked to her. She knows my wife and all that. But when we were in college, we came in together at 18 years old. We had plenty of time back then because she's cute. She was always
Precious. I take something back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking about this subject, and you know, women getting, as our pains say, basted, right? Less than 3% of Black women actually go through that type of procedure.
Right.
Most Black women like the big black hammers to make it happen. That's the reality. They like to be pounded out to make it happen. Listen,
why go for a basis when you can have the real thing?
But that's what I'm saying, though. So
you gotta do the arms again. Do the arm.
He said the Thor hammer.
They love it. You know, they make, you know, it's funny how they make light of black men, because a lot of these dudes they talking about is their own brothers. A lot of these dudes, their own brothers was peeing in the bed till they was 25. So they know these dudes, but they don't really be in communication with real dudes like that. But most, I just hate to say it, but I could be wrong unless y'all having a new wave of women. Most sisters like the real Johnson.
Of course.
Y'all like to get pounded out. That's why we having babies with dudes who you be like, you had a baby with this nigga? That nigga ain't have nothing to lose. He came in ready to pound. He ain't invested nothing. He ain't gave you no money for no oil change. But they'll give him the baby responsibility and then try to shame him on the back end. But they'll make me pay for it if I want to be with her. We just do shit ass backwards sometimes, and then think about it on the.
If the turkey baster thing isn't, I think the turkey baster is more so like shopping for a child. You're shopping for a child because you're trying to see who has good. Like you're just not going in there and be like, "Give me some sperm." You know, before the counter. You're looking through profiles of men.
That's right.
Are tall, who have blue eyes, who are athletic, who are very intelligent. Like. It's not just, you know,
it's a dating app on steroids.
You know what I mean? You know,
I think it's a small percentage of all women do that. I think it's a small percentage. White women don't go to turkey bases either. You know,
they do it at 12. They do it at like 12%.
Yeah, but that's still not the majority.
Who's the majority of these people getting turkey basted?
But out of the groups, the white women are doing it the most. But
I
the number's still like 12% or less.
Yeah, because it ain't cheap. Like it ain't.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't.
You got to put that shit on layaway.
Right, you're buying a child, like you're literally shopping for a child. You got to have a plan for it.
But Precious, think about it. These dudes that go to these places, right? Most of these dudes are not in a good position. Right. I need money. I can go over and find this cup, look at these little XXX magazines, and I can go ahead and get it in. They're going to pay me a little money. A dude that got his shit together, got his own car, his own crib, got a little money, come through about 7:30. Come on through about 7:30. They there at 7:15. And he gonna ride her out to 9:30. She gonna go home to the slow kids. And ain't nobody go eat.
And she got turkey bacon.
Yeah.
No, she let them put it all in. Listen, they'll let a dude squirt it in their weave, in their eye. They come on, man. These women ain't out here going to get they like the real thing.
It's a small thing, but let's not give these guys too much credit. They go in at 7:15, and at 7:20 they're finished. Okay.
Okay, 7:20.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like they doing 1,000 strokes. You know, some of these guys. Anyway, man, but I mean, it's that way. I mean, it's human nature.
Right, that's human nature. Right? I mean, most people are like
skinny boy crazy.
Those who are planning and don't even want the interaction with the man that's going to get turkey basted. You got lesbian couples that are going to get turkey basted.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, they find a guy who they trust, and he spends the night with one of the. You get the chance to spend the night with the flower. The stud is out there looking at you and shit. You better not enjoy it.
Over in the corner, like P. Diddy.
You got the stud with you. You got the stud bestie on you. Oh my God! We're just all jacked up, man.
Yeah,
we're just all jacked up. It's as simple as that.
Because the dude that got it going on,
he
might even get some references. Because and maybe I'm wrong again, Precious.
You're not wrong.
Women put themselves in this position, right? I done talked to this woman 2 months talking about all this stuff I can do, right? I can make you fall asleep. I can make you fix them. If he goes in there and performs as he's advertised, girl, let me tell you about Skeeter Head. This dude came in here and had me flying. I'm still shaking. Boom. Now Saprita sees him out. Oh, you talked to Nene? Because they come up with these crazy. Yeah. Okay. She can't do it like I can. What you mean? Well, you heard what I said. Come try it for yourself. Now, if I come over and I'm out there in 30 minutes, like Alpine said, same. She's making the call, but it's a different conversation. Girl, this little light-skinned, bald-headed nigga wasn't talking about shit. He was weak as hell. And now when they see me, I'm the laughing stock. But you gonna still have some access to me, because now you want to ask me to send you $150 to change your oil just because you gave me some monkey.
There's some real world shit to this. What's her name?
Real world. That's it.
The real. What's that chick's name? Who's that? Keke Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
She had a baby by that dude specifically for the way he looked. She didn't even like him. Right? So she had a baby from this guy, and she's out after she had the kid, and he knocked it, gave her what she wanted, got her pimples out of the way. Now she's on stage butt naked at an Usher concert.
Yes. She's a grown woman now.
Shame the guy for actually liking her and shit. And she put him in his place, and then actually almost got him put in jail for not being an asshole and telling her, hey, listen, you can at least give me some kind of respect. So she used him, because she had a complex with her way she looked and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I love Keke. That's one move she made in her life where I was like, Keke, I can't even get down with you, your mama, none of y'all. Like,
she did how she was raised, Precious. She wasn't raised like that. Keke was raised in a home where, what I think it is? It's her mom reliving her life through Keke. And Keke is very much influenced and probably, have to have this grateful mentality. And her mom is her momager. And she is now just taking the direction of her mom, who was trying to go down this path that Keke was going down, but didn't quite make it. And she became momager. So I think that Keke Palmer just didn't have, her mom couldn't separate the business, and it got to a point where yes, she was at an age where it's like, okay, I have the career, I have the money, I have everything that I want, I have a man. We know what happens when men and women get together, so let me make this happen and then make him go away,
and that's exactly what happened.
The situation with Keke Palmer.
And he had the unmitigated gall to actually like her.
Well, I mean, like Keke Palmer is one of those. Keke Palmer been in the game since she was like 4 or 5.
That's what I'm trying to say. And his first thing was that he actually liked her.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he got got.
But he didn't like Keke because she was Keke Palmer.
She's one of the ones who actually could have gone and had this designer baby. This is a whole business. Like designer babies are a whole business. So my thing is, Keke, why'd you do that? Why'd you just tell the doctor, the hair type, the eye color, the features, the values that come with this sperm? Like, why didn't you just do that? Why take a real human being through the ringer, knowing that there's such an unfair playing field there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing about Keke Palmer and her career. Love her now, love her. Like, she reminds me, personality and things wise, like remind me of my sister, all of that. But when it came to that decision, it was just like, dang, Keke. I'm not. So like when I'm disappointed with my sister, like I can't rock with you right now. I'd rather put you on ice.
Well, maybe the guy can say, do a Ray J. At least I've been there, and let that carry him for the rest of his life. Like Ray J's still talking about the Kardashian chick.
Ain't nobody gonna care that light skinned man dated Keke Palmer. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna know. These kids are just they on to the next. Nobody, back in the day, we really loved our childhood crushes and things. Couldn't stop thinking about them. Had posters and everything. Nowadays, you're here today, you're going tomorrow. Like it's one of those things where they ain't loyal.
Yeah, man, what's that, man?
Oh my darling. Mr. Bruiser, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all making it?
What's up, bro?
Good, doing good.
going on?
I'm back on YouTube, back on the YouTube, having these conversations with the guys. I'm glad you could make it. We're actually about to get into the last video.
Okay.
Have you been watching?
I just got off of Ask a Brother podcast every Wednesday. We do a little show, so I was just listening to what you were saying about Keke Palmer. But you can tell you don't let me stop what you're doing.
No, we're gonna move on. I just wasn't rocking with Keke on that one. It's just a life, and then that one was just, but we all been there. We done all effed up. So I can't really judge her, but I just couldn't get that with her. I did a couple of videos on that too. Like her mama crazy. They going through some time. Right?
Judge her, Precious. Judge her.
She's going through a time right now. She had that light-skinned boy thinking that he was just, on top of the world being with her. And then we're just going to drop him like a bad habit. All right. Anyways. All right. So we have a comedian in the building. And if y'all are just joining in, definitely, I appreciate you. Always and forever. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell and be notified when we go live. So you know. I try my best to send out notifications and messages, but a girl is busy. Okay, I got things to do. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor and just remind yourself. Hit the button and hit the bell and you'll be good. We're gonna get into this last video because there's a comedian who says that her father didn't raise her to be a wife. And Arpain, you made a comment earlier, and I was like, we're going screw. We're going to come back to it when you said, your girls are a little bit, you feel as though you made them a little bit too independent, right? That's pretty much what Leslie is saying here. I want y'all to take it a listen, and then we're going to get into it.
I do. So a dominant.
Now, we can't hear the whole beginning of this conversation, but it seems as though she said, do you want a powerful man? Leslie says, I do. And then this is where she's coming in with a dominant to your submissive.
To your submissive.
I'm not submissive.
Could you be a trad wife is what I'm asking.
Trad wife meaning like I'd be at home and take no.
Now, why they going short and traditional and say trad? This is my first time ever hearing that. Have y'all heard trad wife?
Yeah, but the term has been bastardized and just as opposed to just saying, yeah.
Man, these 30 and unders, they come up with all kinds of dumbass names.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying.
They victimize
for tomorrow. Like trash.
They victimize everything. They make it sound like it's the worst life ever to be a wife. I mean, be a stay-home wife. Because most of them want to put on their makeup like her and come outside like Cochise.
Well, you got to consider who she's talking to right now, too.
Yeah. We gonna finish this out. I just didn't know if y'all heard that term. That this is my first time hearing trad wife.
Yeah, I mean, white people use it the most, though. It's white people use that the most.
Yeah, I ain't even never heard of no white people use it.
Making Oreos from scratch.
I don't absolutely not.
Why not?
Because that's not who the I am, and my daddy didn't raise me like that.
To be a trad wife.
To be anybody's wife. My dad used to literally say that to me. I didn't raise you to be somebody's wife.
That's so brave.
I don't know if it's brave or smart. Most of the people that I know that's gotten married are divorced now.
And so, really, that's an indictment of the institution.
Yeah. I think marriage is legalized slavery.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Say more.
She took it there, y'all. Legalized slavery.
Because if I'm thinking about slavery and I'm thinking about marriage, there are two different images that come into my head.
Absolutely not. I don't think, I don't know how you don't. A man is, especially if he's expecting you to be a trad wife, you might as well pull out a whip and a chain.
Wow. So there are young people watching who might be wanting to get married. What would you say to them?
Don't
get married.
No.
Okay.
Oh God, you are crazy.
How am I crazy?
You are crazy.
You're saying that marriage is.
No, I don't believe in the marriage. No, I don't.
So you wouldn't get married?
No, and I don't think it's beneficial for a woman at all.
Right. So, Miss Leslie,
Ain't nobody marrying that woman.
That was going to be one of my questions, right?
What are you even talking about?
She's not submissive. So would that even make her marriage material? in the first place.
I mean, if you look at who are getting married in this rape, you don't have to be submissive to be a wife. Men are marrying women that are not cooperative. They want to be a so-called partner and have the same leverage as a leader in the marriage, and they actually get married. The times are changing. You can actually, there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to get married if she wanted to. I don't like how the person who was asking her questions allowed the conversation or the responses to stay surface level and actually digging into why do you think it's not beneficial? You know, have you ever been in a marriage to actually determine, you know, this premise that you're pushing, this extreme premise that you're pushing that is slavery? Have you ever been in a marriage to where you endured that kind of subjection as a human being on a level of slavery to make that argument? The person interviewing that person, I think they were all in on a agenda when they set it up. Because I know for a fact, when you have somebody of her status come into an interview, these people get these questions for her. They already know what they're going to talk to, so they don't run into booby traps. So it's a disingenuous interview, but I don't want to dismantle, you know, what y'all want to say about it. But I just don't like it when they set up interviews like that where it just stays here and nobody actually digs. Okay, why? You know, asking those extra questions. Why? What happened? Like, what caused you to think this? I get it. He didn't raise you to wife, but what did he raise you to be? And what do you want to be? Because I make the argument that we're raised one way, but that's not the determining factor on what we actually want to be when we become adults. So why didn't the conversation flow or move along? She wasn't able to do that. I don't think that person has maybe been in the game as an interviewer long enough to know that you should drift the conversation forward.
But Bruiser, also with that, I agree with 1,000 everything you're saying, but also you looking at it from a man's point of view. A man is going to ask those questions. Why? Women, they're going to allow women to keep it surface level because they know it puts a responsibility on them. They don't want to. They want to keep it all nice and sister on sister love. And like you said, where you started, you can learn through your experiences and through life to be a better person, because if you become a better man, you're more than likely going to be equipped to be a husband. If you become a better woman, you're going to be equipped to at least be cooperative. No, this submission stuff, this submit to me when you get on your back 10-2. But just cooperate most of the time. Shit, we gotta wash the clothes. I gotta cut the grass. We gotta do things that take care of our house. That takes cooperation. The kids got to do their damn schoolwork. They got to, and this is the other thing I shut up. We got to a place now where we don't include everybody in the upkeep of the house, in the family. I would never worry a woman that has kids that don't do nothing. I would never do it. Kids got to show that they can earn their keep too. You're going to wash clothes, your own clothes, especially 14. But these people say stuff and you're not going to put the responsibility onto her to explain that ideology, because people hear these things. I wasn't raised. Now everybody goes, I wasn't raised. So what? Your mama was there.
Yeah, and raising is not necessarily always telling children what or what not to do. It's your example of how you're showing them too. Because, can parents really raise husband and wives? No, like you said, you can raise a young woman to be a great business leader or someone who's a great team player or things of that nature. But honestly, what's going to raise that woman to be a wife is actually being a wife. Raising means you're still doing it. It's something that's continuing to happen. It's a continuous process within you. Even when wives are wives, it's not like, oh, I'm a wife now, all right, that's it. No, you're still growing into that woman for that man. It's not you're just ending that process. But when Arpain said that his daughters are, he kind of wished they weren't, so independent.
No, I didn't exactly say that. I said, I wanted them to be
What'd you say, Armin? What'd you say?
No, I said, I know you said independent. I did say self-sufficient, and I said, yeah, maybe I got a little bit too much self, but not necessarily because they wouldn't get married, because the alternative would be worse. Because I couldn't pick the fact that, that they couldn't handle themselves, because they still have to be chosen by somebody. So they have to be able to navigate the world the way it is. But I never told my kids that, that's why I got a whole wife, shoot, to talk to my kids about the feminine side of stuff. I just wanted them to be able to, read, write, and do arithmetic, and be able to, do their own taxes, so, and I've succeeded that, and not be baby mamas at teenagers and shit like that. But yeah, so if I most misspoke to say that it kind of is a misspeak. It's a kind of a misspeak because I can't dictate whether they run into the right guy to marry, right? I couldn't, nothing I could do for that. But I think they would be prepared and they'd be beneficial to any guy, especially my oldest daughter, because she's more, I like guys kind of thing. She had a nice serious relationship that didn't work out. But yeah, but I would never take back them being self-sufficient. I just want to make sure we don't say independent, because none of us are really.
What is the difference?
Being self-sufficient and independent. Well, none of us go through life independently. We all have some independent, being interdependent with somebody. I still cover my daughters, right? They still depend on me for certain things. Being self-sufficient means you can take care of yourself. Being independent doesn't necessarily mean you can take care of shit. You just doing shit by yourself, whether it's good or bad. So I think there's a big difference. That's why there's two different words. But let's get back to this thing with Leslie Jones. She, it's the first time when they put the camera on her, I said, this is the last woman I'd be talking about marriage with. Just based on some of her previous interviews and things of that nature, that I said, first of all, she has some issues with men in general. So what she's talking about and the way she's framing things, she has an issue with men, period. That's what I think. And being married to one is an anathema to her, right? So, not to mention, she ain't that easy on her eyes. So the guys that she might want don't really measure up to what she thinks she should be getting because of her status in Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. And all women, no matter what, they all think they're 10s. And reality is telling her that you ain't, no matter what you do and how much money you make, you still ain't going to get the top flight guy putting you on his arm and making you feel like a queen. And I think she's bitter about that.
Wow. What do y'all think, fellas?
So what?
I mean, you could tell she's got she's had some bad experiences with men. Like, you could just tell the way she talk. You could tell the tone in her voice, especially when she's talking about slavery. Like, that really irks me when they say slavery. Like, and it's no accountability. And like you guys said, the woman, the interviewer, is not pushing back. She's not asking any, rhetorical questions. She's not trying to dig deeper. She's just like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, and then she looks away, and kind of looks stupid, and then comes back to the camera like, okay, so why do you, really her question should be, well, why do you think it's slavery? What makes you think that? What experiences have you had that make you say, you feel like marriage is slavery? So you could tell she has bad experiences in her relationships. Bad experiences with men in general, like the panel said. And yeah, who really wants to marry her, to be honest?
I haven't heard anything about her having any relationships or marriages or a long-term commitment with anybody in her career.
Yeah.
So she did reveal that all of the women she know have ended in divorce. So perhaps maybe she's speaking from somebody else's experience and not her own. And I'm not gonna attack. I'll try to attack her argument instead of her. But if we were to talk about how she appeal, she might not be appealing to us. But I've seen women who look way worse than her have a husband and many children in a loving marriage. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that she's getting options. There's so many men that was probably lined up that's willing to date her, but because of her view on relationships and as far as marriage, it doesn't make sense to approach her on that. She's just not accepting of it. But again, the question is why, and why do you line up your decisions and what you want to do in life based on the experiences of other people? So we have a lot of people in the manosphere, in the red pill space, that do that too. I would argue that an overwhelming majority of men never even had the experiences that they're afraid of having, or that they're seeing flow in the algorithm, and they're saying, I don't want to do that because such and such said that he got taken to the cleaners. How do you know that you would get taken to the cleaners?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people get on me a lot when I take that approach. It's like a forbidden area to go into as a creator in this space. But you have to ask yourself, how can I not go into the space of being more objective if in fact that I am a married man with kids and I haven't been taken to the cleaners and I'm on 10 years. So I have to kind of speak from integrity. I can't just say that, oh, because of these guys again, that you shouldn't get married. No, I'm married. Go ahead and get married. Do it and go through it for you, not off of the experiences of other people. You can learn from, if you read into a lot of their stories, you can learn some of the nuances that you might be able to bypass. Some of the mistakes that they made, some of the things that couple wasn't able to rectify, that you and your significant other might be able to navigate. So it's okay to be able to look at it from that way and don't feel like you're turning on the flock of people in a particular ideological space.
Brother, it's easy for me to align with brothers that think all women are hurters. It's easier. So people always navigate towards the easiest route. And again, like you said, instead of facing, I don't assume that every woman that likes me would like y'all. But a guy, this is what YouTube is sort of distorting a lot of men in a sense that they'll listen to one story and they'll apply it to everybody. They'll apply it to their future. Hold up, man. You heard about this 8 years ago? 8, 9 years? What? You was what? 23 and you 43 now? You know, so it's just unfortunate that again, the prime of us are afraid to even try because we heard of the worst of the stories. Or if it happened in my family, it's gotta happen everywhere.
Right.
So we'll see.
I agree with you when he says, you know, there are women, you know, that may be facially more challenged than, you know, Leslie, that are in successful marriages, have children and things of that nature. I think the nature of what she does, being a comedian, and you know, we all know she's a very vulgar comedian as well. She's just not one of these haha tell a joke or two. You know, she gonna get down in the nitty gritty, you know, the cussing, the vulgar words, all of that. And with comedy, you're on the go, you're state to state or city to city, and that's the life that she lives. And so, you know, a man is not going to always want a woman on the go either. You know, a man has needs. He want what he wants. And so, you know, that could narrow down her choices as well. And she could just be a companion of a man who maybe has the same lifestyle, or maybe, you know, doesn't care about the sanctity of marriage like she doesn't, or like she's seen others just destruct and poof out of thin air, right? So, you know, I don't think that her views are bad for her. It's just when you like you guys are saying, she gets on this podcast or this interview, and I think that this woman who does these interviews, I don't know if it's intentional, but I don't think she really ever goes deep into interviewing tactics or type of journalistic ways with her interviewees. Like I think she just asks some questions, they give her answers, and she's on to the next question, or she has a couple of words to say. She's like, "Oh, that's brave. Oh, wow," and calling that brave, to me, I saw that where it was just like, she's doing something that back in the day, women would never say those things from their lips, oh, well, if I was to tell a woman what to do when it came to marriage, I would just tell her not to do it. Like, that was not what women were telling women back in the day. It's like, no, stay with your man, raise the family. You have a responsibility. We have a village, others in our community are, we're amongst the same type of family dynamics. And so we're going to make this work. But in 2026, this is, the way that women in her stature are trying to give other women advice. And I don't necessarily, this is what I don't like about social media, because like you were saying, Coach Ferg, her experiences now become the fear of other women who have never been in her shoes, who don't like, who are not around the stature of people that she's around. And so now women are gonna be like, you know what? Leslie said don't get married. I'm not gonna get married. And it's like, no, you got to do what's best for you and realistic for you in your life. You can't say you're not getting married because you're a certain age and you think it's slavery and because maybe no one's checking for you, so it's easy to say, oh yeah, no, I'm not getting married, or I'm not doing X, Y, and Z because I saw them fail, or I think it's slavery. Now, do I think that I was going to say, do I think that slavery is beneficial for the man? Do I think that marriage is beneficial for men more than women? Slightly, I do. Slightly, I do, because women were created for men. We were created for you guys. Like, literally, you were here first, and God was like, I need to give you somebody. Somebody gonna have to, you know what I mean? And so I do slightly believe that, marriage does benefit men more than it benefits women, especially in today's society. Back then, I think it was very beneficial for a woman to be married because that was her lifeline. That was the way that she was going to produce for her and her children. But in today's society, I think that if men and women decide to continue to get married, the men would benefit slightly a little bit more than women would, because at the end of the day, there's nothing that he can't pay for that a woman can provide him as a wife. A man can pay for anything that he wants and needs these days. He doesn't have to marry a woman to make her his wife.
Before we get to that answer you just said, because I don't necessarily agree with the fact that it benefits men more, but let's get back to Leslie. Her attitude it reminds me of somebody who says, if I can't get what I want, I'm a burn the whole house down. Right? There's a lot of women that a lot of times we get on these spaces and say, well, women have rules for the guys that they don't want, and they don't have any rules for the guys they do want. And I think the guys that she might actually want to cuff up wouldn't even look at her twice. And your attitude has a lot to do with that. I mean, I don't know if she's just turning it on for this podcast, but she seems like a completely unpalatable woman.
Well, she knows she's not submissive, and anybody that crosses her would know that
well,
too.
But it's not just because she's not submissive. She just doesn't look like somebody I would want to cleave to over some kind of long haul because of the vibe that she gives off. Now, the slavery thing and all that kind of stuff is okay. She's just, maybe it's hyperbole. But if I'm looking at what she just said, I don't know how she deals with guys on a regular basis. Right? She sounds like she don't even want to have a relationship with a man at all. Forget about marriage. I mean, listen, I just think that one, she's not the right person to have this conversation with, because she's so biased to one end. And if you're not going to dig deep, like Bluesy was saying and stuff, then what's the sense of this conversation with her at all? What's the purpose of the conversation with a woman like that?
I think you got to look at it from the total addressable market of that content creator's influence. When you look at the audience, it appeals to what their audience running. She's probably got a content manager that is curating the line of questioning so that they could be polarized for the audience and that they can run clips and shorts that can go viral for the sake of revenue. One lane, you gotta look at it as a content creator, and you also got to look at it as, I mean, what we did was objectively on how it actually impacts relationships and the overall well-being of men and women whenever they're deciding to get married. But whenever you look at these people behind these microphones, I would say lean more towards the content creation side, looking at it from that, because once you understand how once you understand video business and growth and all that stuff, then you'll be able to see why or what purpose it serves. And it doesn't necessarily align with morals. Those type of morals don't really tend to get views. You got to play outside of that lane and cater to things that are against the grain.
On that, but that's the same thing you can say about the red pill content.
You can. Yeah. That's why when you have people that are on extreme sides that says don't date a single mother at all, period. But then you have some single mothers that are actually worthy of being a opinion. You would actually have to go and inquire about her and rate her and evaluate her based off of what you need and what she need. And if y'all are compatible, I don't see why not. But just to have an extreme to say don't date him, that is piggybacking off somebody's negative experience, and they're saying, no, I wouldn't date him, so you shouldn't date him. I went out here and I dated him for you. I'm coming back to report to you that it's a bad idea, so just don't do it at all.
I'm with you. But not to I guess go on a tangent, but I think that one of the reasons in the modern day, the reason why I believe that women are still not really at a disadvantage for being married is because I believe that women need order. I think left up to your own devices, a lot of women just go crazy and do what they feel like doing. Now, I'm not saying every woman, some people, and I don't think the world is better for a whole bunch of women being spinsters running around doing their own thing. Right now, you got to cleave to a man that's going to benefit you, but I don't think the world is better because we have a whole bunch of single women running around because they don't need men for financial support anymore.
Well, it depends on how you're measuring whether the world is better. If you're talking about the United States, if you look at the economy, if you look at consumerism, the nation is actually better when women are running around here with their heads cut off.
I'm not. Yeah, if you're talking about commercialism, spending money, but that don't make
the powers of be believe that the bottom line is
better for the people who are making money off of that.
Exactly. So that's how you have to look at it. If you're looking at it morally and religiously or whatever the way we look at it, okay, what's better for our people?
I'm talking about society.
That's on the bottom whenever it comes to society. Society is women are more valuable when they're not necessarily tied or connected to a man. They're more valuable to society whenever they're able to have autonomy over them.
For a commercial standpoint, because they're spending money recklessly. So I hear you, but I'm not talking from that perspective because I know that's why there's powers that be that wants them to be single and single by themselves. And it's nefarious. It's a nefarious power. But no, I do hear what you're saying, Bruiser. Yeah, we can make a case that from a commercial standpoint, if I was one of those billionaires, I want as many single women around spending money as I possibly can if I'm in the right industry. But I'm saying for society to move forward, reason why birth rates are where they are and maybe going down, I don't think it's benefited the Black community at all.
It's the purpose of the way that society is moving is not. It's the last thing they want to do is actually benefit the Black community.
Yeah, but we could be. If
you're expecting any movement going in the direction to benefit the Black, that's actually against the bottom line.
But that doesn't mean we have to buy into it as Black people. We don't. We buy into the propaganda too much, but we're digressing.
Right.
You know, we're the reason why we're easy pawns for this is because we're easy pawns for the okie doke. That's why we can't stand each other. And we have a Leslie Jones up here on this podcast for content saying the shit that she's saying, or the Ebony K. Williams on the other side saying that you don't need a man to have a baby. Well, we all physically know that. We all biologically know you don't. But is that the best thing for society? You know, I'm just saying. You know,
again, when you bring it back to the question, you have to is it the best thing for society according to your terms or your worldview, or is it the best thing for society according to the patriarchy? Which I would argue that we're not the patriarchy, but they try to say that they try to lump black men into the patriarchy, but we don't run and operate and control anything within the infrastructure to be lumped into which is black men.
I never use the word patriarchy. I never do.
Why not?
Because I don't, I think there's somebody came up with this whole patriarchy. I believe that there's a natural order of things that put men in control of certain things. And if you're a Christian, right, it's God, man, women, and child, right? And you can believe that or you don't. So if you call that a patriarchal hierarchy, okay, that's up to you. But I don't use the patriarchy because people use patriarchy as a derogatory term or some other.
That's not what I'm using it for.
No. What I'm saying is when.
So think about it like this: you said it's a natural order of things. Right. Isn't it safe to say that the way the United States or the New World or the Western culture was developed and curated into a thriving society happened by way of unnatural events, unhumane events? It was nothing about the natural order of things. It was more of an unnatural order of things for this nation to actually be thriving right now. And one of the biggest
unnatural. What you mean by unnatural? Violence?
Yeah, I mean you could say that, but if you want to be more specific, one of the most, I would say, profound unnatural things that had to take place was actually a part of a discussion that was denounced when it came to reparations in a conversation between the UN, the United States, and other countries about the Atlantic slave trade that just happened, I think, a week or two ago.
All right.
That is unnatural. You have to actually force something like that to happen in order to get to where we are right now. And it's by way of millions of people having to be subjugated to inhumane circumstances and sometimes fatality.
Mm.
So when you talk about a patriarchal system, we're not always pushing a negative thing, but we're just talking about what actually it is. It is a infrastructure that is operated and led by men. Not saying that it's bad, but there is a actual outcome, and the outcome is to have a society in which we have right now. And in order to get there, it was some ugly things that had to take place that most of us don't agree with, and most of us don't even want to rectify, especially when it comes to repaying people back for
things can't be rectified.
Unpaid labor.
It's too late. Yes, you can't rectify certain things. Yeah, certainly. We can never go back to make things right that happened. I don't know if it's unnatural that happened. It's just the way of power, right? It's the way of power, and that's the way I look at it. But I hear you. But here's the thing: when we talk about this nihilistic approach to the fact that men are in charge and the world is all messed up, we're excluding the fact that we have never been more advanced than we are now. How did that happen? And then we look at the West, right? And we look at the United States. I don't think there's a place on earth where women is as free as they are in this country at the benevolence of men. I mean, we can sit down and look at that. Yeah, women say, every time I hear a woman from the United States complain about rights, I think they're crazy. Got much more rights than we do. As
what can you list? Can you name?
Saying, we can't just keep shitting on men because it sounds good.
Can you name one particular right that women are complaining about?
If you're on social media, they complain about rights all the time. They're taking out rights.
I'm talking about one specifically that we might be able to address.
One specifically that they're complaining about is that they have less rights than men do in general, because somehow they talk about the pay gap, and they talk about the fact that, and all I've been saying in my premise is that they have more rights than we do. They don't have to sign up for the draft.
Okay, so the
They
pay
don't,
gap.
hold on. They don't have to sign up for the draft. In family court, they get more favorable stuff in family court. They don't get the same punishments for the same crime that men do. They can get away with paternity fraud. They can they could put a man in jail for years for lying on him and never get any kind of retribution. They got laws that says, the reason why we don't prosecute women who lie on men is because we think that we're going to cause a situation where they'll never come forward and say, listen, the women in the West are the most coddled women on the face of the earth.
Look, I hear what you're saying. I hear the argument you're making, but I don't hear the actual specific right that you're talking about that women are actually complaining about that they don't have that men do. What you spoke about, pay gap. Pay gap is not a right. You spoke about putting the wrong man on the. These are things that happens in law. This is not necessarily a right. I was asking about a specific right. You could have said maybe birth rights or autonomy over reproductive decisions or something like that.
But they have rights there too, right?
But do they really have rights to be able to make the decision? To do what they want, what's in their womb?
Yes, they do.
By and large.
Yes, by and large.
Actually, in certain states, a huge number of states, they don't.
About certain states, though. But in all 50 states, there's a place where they can have as many deletions as they possibly can.
And what states is that?
New York.
Okay, so
in the blue states, for sure. In the red states, the courts came in and say you can't be draconian. If there's the big three, the SA, the incest, that you can't have a law that says they can't take care of that. Because the courts already, I think it was Utah, that tried to put a ban on everything. And that got struck down. So I'm just saying, when you hear women talk about it, and I don't sit down here and give me a list, but I can just go ahead and put it in YouTube and say, which rights do women think they don't have? I'll come up with 100 videos when they give me a whole bunch of horse shit that they think that their world is coming to an end. They're the ones who use patriarchy and all this other kind of stuff. I'm just saying, as much as men love women, I think we get a bad rap for how women are being treated. Everything that they enjoy is at the benevolence of men in this country. Everything from the 19th Amendment on, without doing a thorough assessment of how women vote when they got it, they changed everything. Because they vote on emotions. They vote on this. The worst enemy to the United States is a liberal white woman. And because if you listen to the way they think, if we had our country run by those green-haired monsters, we'd be in trouble. As a country, the borders would be wide open. All kinds of stuff would be happening. Listen, call me a male chauvinist. I think the world is much better with men in control. Period. And I'll argue with that with anybody. That doesn't mean that we have to belittle women and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think a woman standing in front of a cadre of men is the best leader for the men.
And I think the record and the actual election status shows that. These women can go around and run the narratives and movements. But as far as being a person of power over the free world, they're just not going to have that, been negating that process for the longest. So that's not a matter of an argument. But liberal white women as allowed, especially whenever it comes to influencing black women, has somehow convinced them to identify as a woman first before identifying as a black woman. And that's a dangerous position to be in as a community. But it was all for a particular outcome. But we don't really go that far into the conversation. We kind of just stop and say that it is wrong and it's immoral. We don't know what the agenda was from that side that actually wanted that outcome. And there's things that, a domino effect of things that start to open up for a particular group that's behind these narratives. And until we start reading to them, we can actually understand why they done it, even though it's wrong or immoral. But the key is to understand why did they do that, so that you can better combat it or position yourself to be able to negate any of the nuances that are or challenges that are going to be put in front of you.
Yeah, I think just getting back to the video, Leslie seems, and I don't know this for sure. I would have to research. I probably should have did that before the live. Leslie seems like someone who stays in male-oriented circles. Like, you know, it doesn't seem like, just because of just how, you know, rough and tough she is. She said that her father didn't raise her to be a certain, which begs the, you know, the question of, well, where was your mom? You know, was your mom there? Was there any type of soft landing for you? Was there anyone, you know, was there a union in the house that you grew up in, or, you know, were you just around your mom? Is this the reason why you're in comedy and went this route? Yeah, you funny, but we all know that a lot of comedians are depressed. Like they're comedians because they're able to make light and joke of real life situations without really getting in trouble for it. They can, I don't want to say they're purposely offending people, but they can offend people and get away with it, right? But a lot of that is deep rooted in hurt, depression, unsolved trauma, and things of that nature. So I think that is more of a vibe that Leslie is giving off to me. Do I know her personally? No, I don't know her personally. But at the end of the day, even me myself, like, it's like I wouldn't tell someone not to get married. I would tell them to be wise. I would tell them to get wise counsel. I would, you know, see who they have around them to, you know, see if those group of people have a head on their shoulders to be able to coach someone to say, okay, you are gonna, you know, need someone, or you are going to have to compromise in relationships. But you should be wise in making those decisions. You know, you're not just going to do that for any Tom, Dick, or Harry, you know? So the agenda, like Bruiser was saying, with these content creators are to push these clips where it's just like, okay, let's put this message out in the world. You know, Arpain, you say, okay, well, we as Black people, we can change that narrative, but then you have Black people like Leslie Jones who project this, you know, this rhetoric on Whitney Houston's web, okay? Like they, you know, it's projected in that way, and you have a whole bunch of people who will take the clickbait and they will comment and they will share and they will post and they'll see, girl, I told you, our phones are listening to us. Wasn't we just talking about this and da 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 da? Like that's all a psychological programming. That's why, you know, I'm on YouTube, on Instagram, but I'm not of this culture. I come on here, we do our lives, and then I'm out. I'm not, you know, consuming this morning, noon, and night. Yes, I do look for content, but that's the purpose, is to just look for content and not necessarily consume everything that I'm scrolling up on, you know. And so I honestly think that, you know, parents can't necessarily raise their children to be good husbands or wives. They can only really, you know, display that type of that type of environment. Because my parents were married, but, you know, can I say that they raised me to be a wife? No, I saw the things that my mom did as a wife. I saw the things that my dad did as a husband. But I was never involved in their intricacies of their marriage because we were the children. So we weren't seeing all that. We weren't involved in all of that. As I got older as a woman, yes, my mom would put me aside and tell me certain things that probably my dad probably wouldn't even want her to tell me, okay? Because there would be moments where it's like, you're not my daughter right now, you're my friend. Like, you know what I mean? And those are things in marriage where it's just like you have to have a support system. My mom also have gone through losing a lot of her close friends and losing a lot of her support system as well. And so as you get older, as the children who grow up, you know, you become that in some instances, not all the time, but in some instances you become that listening ear or that person where they have to blow off that steam. But it doesn't mean that my parents raised me to be a wife. They showed me what it looked like to have a close-knit family, a family structure. But it doesn't mean that you know how to do that just because you lived in the midst of that. Because there's a lot of family structures where parents are married and they're not having the best marriage, and their children never know these things. Their children are never privy to the issues that are going on in the house. They just know that they got a roof over their head, they got heat, they got something to eat, they got clothes on their back, they're being raised well, and they're not struggling, they're not in want of anything. But it doesn't mean that they were raised to be husband and wives. I think that comes from seeking knowledge, seeking out the people who are in those situations to put you in a better situation, or put you in the straight and narrow or direction of those who are doing the same thing as you. So that was, where my viewpoints of that video and that clip of what she was saying. It just seems like she just hangs around a lot of rough and tough men. And that could be a shield for her. That could protect her from actually being vulnerable, from actually, being submissive, because the S word is like a cuss word on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And, like Arpain was saying, it's being cooperative. Like, can you be cooperative? If I say, hey, we're not spending this, or, I really don't want you to go out tonight because it's bad weather out there, and you just do whatever you want to do, that's not the makings of a husband or wife. That's not that's not showing the person who loves you that you are cooperating with them, because in essence, they're really trying to protect you, and you think it's controlling, or you think it's, someone being a narcissist, or all the other things that women call men. So I really wanted to go over these videos tonight, because they all kind of flowed, with one another. The first one was of the woman who went on tonight's conversation and was like, well, I told him I'm getting an oil change, it's $150. I didn't actually pay for it, but he gave me $100, but he didn't give me the other $50. Am I wrong for feeling bad, for questioning this gesture? You have to be and she's engaged, right? So she's in the seat of becoming a wife, and these are the thoughts and the mind frame that she has, right? So second video, a man telling men, hey, if she ain't paying no bills, she really not there for you, and we got you guys' perspective on that. Pretty much not leading with the wallet. I think that there's a fair balance of a man being self-sufficient and showing himself as someone who can hold his own without necessarily leading with his wallet. And I think that women can see that in other ways than him saying, here go $150, or here go this and that for you to do X, Y, and Z. A woman can tell when a man has his ish together. Like, that's apparent without you having to tell me what you own, what you do, and all of that. That actually comes out in your character as a man. Can
I ask you a question on that? I know y'all probably got everybody's take on it, but I was just curious to know what did the guy say about. And I know y'all have this negative connotation to leading with your wallet. It's very oversimplified. It's not necessarily. Nobody says sole provider. Everybody just said lead with your wallet. So what was y'all overall consensus on that?
Don't do it. That was their overall consensus.
No, I think
you're on mute because there was feedback from your. Hold on.
I think we had levels. We had levels to it. Like, we had to say that this lady was this guy's fiance, not just a girlfriend, not just a bust down. So if she wanted an oil change and it cost a certain amount, why not just tell him how much it costs? And if he wanted to pay for it, he would have paid for it. Because most guys probably wouldn't have thought twice about giving her $150 to pay for the oil change if she would have asked for it. Because if he asked her to marry him, then they're way past whether he's got to be some trust built up and some, you want to marry this woman. So if
he didn't offer.
No, she just mentioned.
He didn't know. He didn't know. She called him with an incident and needed the money.
No, y'all, please. Y'all are not watching these videos.
So what was it? Did he know or did he not know?
No,
He
she
knew-
just
he
told him
She
wanted an
called
oil
him. Yeah, she called him and
change.
said, "I need
hold
my
on.
oil change."
Coach, she said, I wanted an oil change.
No,
That's the way she explained it.
She said she's going to get an oil change.
listening. She didn't call him and tell him that she needed an oil
Yeah, I
change.
threw
She
that in there.
mentioned that she was getting an oil
Okay,
change.
so she's getting an oil change.
She didn't ask
Yeah.
for the money.
She didn't
However-
call him actually. She just
However,
told her
he
man.
offered it to her. He offered her $100 instead of the $150, and then she brung her narrow behind on tonight's conversation to ask if she's wrong for not expecting him to pay the entire amount of $150 when she wasn't even intending on him to pay for it. However, the men feel as though she was dropping the breadcrumbs of I need an oil change, so I'm going to mention it to see if he will pay for it. That was their standpoint on
So
her.
my question is,
Mm-hmm.
how did he know that? How did he know that? Or how did she communicate, or was it known that the total amount for the bill was $150 instead of $100?
Yes, he knew that it was
He knew that it was $150.
No, he didn't know until she called him and get all. Look, you can look it up. When a woman says she need an oil change, they typically don't know how much it costs. He sent her. She said, She said, I'm gonna get an oil change. He sent her $150. He sent her $100, right? Because a typical oil change anywhere between $65, $70 and $150, $300, right? So instead of her saying I need a certain amount of money, she didn't say. He just sent her $100 through Cash App, and that was it. But when she went there, it cost more.
Or we should show it
Right.
again. Or we
Yeah,
should show it again.
Read between the lines, it tell you the whole thing. But
we should
Change,
just
oil
show it
change is
again.
100. Did you correct a gesture? So if you're with someone, you going to get an oil change. Oil change is $150. They only give you $100. You didn't ask for the money. You didn't ask for it. But they gave you a half gesture. So you.
Did you tell him how much these things cost?
Yeah, if he'll ask him like, hey, how much is the oil change?
And you would say 150 and he'll send you 100.
Yeah.
Now, that's crazy.
Are you married?
Oh, see, y'all left that out.
So what's the
That's what I
problem?
was
You already
asking
signed
him.
up.
I was trying to tell you, Bruce.
See, fellas, why y'all do that? Why y'all sit there and lie?
Trying to tell
What?
you
I didn't lie. What
the
you
little
doing?
things they heard. Instead
He
of-
just see Ace asked the perfect question.
yeah.
Did you tell him how much it cost? And she said that
she
yes. I
said
told
no.
him.
She said no. If he asked me, I would have told him. Go back and play the video. If he would have asked me, go back. She
Bruh. Oh no!
go back and hold up. Her words to let you know. If he asked me, I would have told him 150. She just said she going to get an oil change. He kicked her $100. Go back and listen. Gotta listen.
Run that back again.
We're gonna go all the way back to it again.
Now listen to
Did you
her. She's
correct a
great.
gesture? So if you're with someone, you going to get an oil change. Oil change is $150. They only give you $100. You didn't ask for the money. You didn't ask for it. But they gave you a half gesture. So you.
Did you tell him how much these things cost?
Yeah, if he'll ask him like, hey,
Hold
how
up.
much is the oil change?
And you would say 150 and he'll send you 100.
Yeah.
Now, that's crazy.
Are you married?
They cut that. That's a cut. That video was cut. Yeah, if he asked me how much it cost, I would have told him
What we
150.
can't do is say that. We can't look at the video and say something was cut out. We got to look at the video for what it
That's
is.
right.
Y'all didn't hold up. Y'all didn't hear the if. Did y'all hear the if? Y'all didn't hear the if.
All night.
Okay.
Well,
Y'all ain't hear the if.
We can only go off of what we have.
Play the video.
He asked.
Y'all didn't hear the if though? Okay.
Right. Did you ask him? Right. Did you or did you tell
Did you tell him how much
Tell
it
him
cost? You see, he
how
said,
much
"Yeah, I'll tell him it's 150." That's all you need
If
to
he
know.
would have asked me, that's what y'all missing.
Yeah, you just looking into the cut.
But she said that though. Okay.
But I didn't hear that.
Y'all didn't hold up. Y'all didn't hear it. If he asked, that was cut out. It was sliced. Yeah,
I heard her.
I would have told him
I heard
150
her-
if he'd have
I
asked.
heard
That's what I'm
Ace
saying.
ask her a question,
Yes.
and I heard her answer it.
She said yes.
Yes.
But y'all didn't hear the if. Okay.
Yeah,
But we
they
still
cut it
heard her
out. They
answer it
cut
though.
out.
If he would have if he would have asked me, I would have told him it was 150. But he only sent me 100 Because a guy is
I didn't hear
understanding.
that. Did
But
when
I
you
get
continue to play that? Is that
any
continue?
nigga that got a car, if you don't know how much an oil costs, you a lame ass dude as hell. What we talking about? If you don't know how much an oil costs, I don't give a fuck if you was a dude that just started wearing your pants pulled up when you was 30.
Another example, right? I remember getting the oil change. I was talking to this guy. I'm gonna give y'all a real life example of my life, right? I was talking to this guy. I said, you know, I'm on my way to go get an oil change. He called me. It wasn't like I was asking him to pay for it. He called me. That's what I was doing. And so he's like, well, how much is the oil change? I told him how much the oil change. He was like, oh no, that's way too much for an oil change. And I said, it's not way too much for an oil change because this is the oil that my car takes. I have an SUV. I need synthetic, blah, blah, blah. After he did the research, he was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that that's how much, you know, or because he's still driving the car. Now, mind you, this is a man who has money. He's still driving his Lexus that he's been driving since 1987, you know, so he does well with his money. Wow. But when you tell a man, you know, like Coach Fur, you're saying, well, you know, oil change is only $60, $70. That was my oil change back in the day when I had my Nissan Altima in 2000 and, 20, like, you know, not even further back than that. Like, you know, that, and believe me, when I went to go get the oil change, I was like, wait, how much is it? I didn't pay that much for oil change.
The labor cost. The labor cost is what's eating it up. Most dudes can't do the oil change with their hands.
I don't have nobody that can change my damn oil and get underneath my car and do it. So I have to go to a shop. It just is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless my wife tell me how much it costs, I don't know. I will ask her how much it costs, or she would tell me how much something it costs, and I would give her the money, or she would just go and use the card. Right. But if that's not what, if none of that conversation played out in the video, I can't sit here and assume what was said unless y'all play the full video. But all I can do is go off of what was played. And Ace asked that woman the question, did he know how much it cost? Did you tell him? She said yes. In the store.
If he would have asked me,
Coach, but in the end, they cut that part out so we could.
I know, but if they cutting it out, then it's already a narrative being said. So
let's go with the video with Bruiser.
All you can do is go with the video then, unless you trying to.
Go with the video.
So let's get to the point that he only gave her $100. So what do you think about that, Bruiser?
So my thing is, if he knew that it cost $150 and he only gave it $100, the next question is that all he had? Did he have it and still okay? And if you was able to give her $150, why didn't you give her more?
About to be.
So what's the problem? You already signed up.
I am appreciative of his gesture because he didn't have to do it.
So why is the correction not with your acceptance, but with his action? Damn.
That's good.
I don't know.
But I have an issue with a man that I'm telling is $150 and he's giving me $100. So now I'm thinking about your leadership. Now I'm thinking about other ways that you're going to short me. Now I'm thinking about how you also going to be frugal and petty and penny pinch in other departments, right? And so it may not be a heart wound, right? This is just baseline reciprocity. Why is it that I'm showing up for you fully, but you feel a need to give me $100 on $150? You're literally telling him the price and he's giving you a portion of it. So I want to know where's the rest of it, baby? Because when you in my household, you're going to leave my household, right? And you're going to provide a covenant from me. And you want me to respect you and lead, right? And you want me to be submissive. Where is my other $50?
Thank you.
Period.
Listen,
Thank you.
Hey, hold on. For all the brothers, if you ain't gonna pay the whole thing, don't ask how much it costs. Just don't ask how much it costs. And I'm imagining he got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got it.
And so the fact of the matter that he's only sending you $100 is crazy.
It is not crazy.
Yes, it is.
Well, I never agree with Ace, but I agree with Ace and that woman. If you're gonna be a provider, if you're gonna be a provider, if you want 100% cooperation and submission, then you don't pay her 2/3. You don't provide 2/3 of the resources. You pay 100% of them. I fundamentally believe that if a woman has resources or she's able to go out and get a bag and bring it in the house, you begin to lose leverage. Whenever you make a demand or you make a directive, she can say no because she can sustain herself. Okay. There is no consequences for a woman deviating from your direction. If you tell a woman, hey, look, I don't need you to go out there and wear that. How are you able to take away any privileges or consequences whenever she's providing a substantial amount of the resources to the house? You can't turn off a credit card. You can't say that, hey, look, well, I ain't paying for that or I ain't doing this. You don't have any leverage at all.
If your money is your leverage, you ain't have none at all anyway, because you could lose your money. So,
Well, that's true too. Two things can be true at once. But if you are the provider, or you are the sole provider, if you are providing for your family and your household, you most definitely have leverage, and you can render consequences for not falling in line. That's just my fundamental belief.
What would be those consequences?
Men have no other power. You don't have no other power. You don't have no other leverage over a woman. You can't. They took away. Well, they shed more light on using the hands-on approach to correct women. You can't do
what
that.
You mean by that? No, nobody wasn't doing that. Bruiser, what do you mean by
what
do you mean
nobody wasn't doing that?
I mean, what I'm saying is we act like black man was just going around knocking. Look, that's what we can't do.
That ain't what I said.
But what I'm saying, it was a small
Did I
number,
say
dude. But what I'm saying is those dudes that do that wasn't providing nothing. Most dudes that do that wasn't
so
providing
you have
nothing.
to substantiate whether or not the guy that was smacking him also wasn't providing.
Well, he was already busted up when she met him. And most of these dudes ain't doing it. So I'm saying is
Like I said, you got to substantiate that.
But this is the question I have. But this is the question I have, right? So in this message, right? And I appreciate any brother like you, man, from going out into the world and helping men becoming better. And I appreciate that. I wish I had you 20 years ago. 20 years ago in Chicago, it'd have been a great message, right? And I think it's perfect for younger men, right? But what are older men to do? I would say 35 to 55, because, you know, they're coming to their maturity. They're coming into probably the most money they'll have. And what are they to do if the women are still aligned with the same ideology going forward as Big Leslie? And, you know, Leslie is 58, the same as me. If women take her approach, what are the men to do who are really intentional about creating family marriages, and those women are moving as though I would never cooperate with you?
Well, that's the worst of two worst of the worst of both worlds. You have a woman who's self-sustained, independent. She's well off into her career, and she's made millions of dollars, and she don't want to cooperate. There's no way you can deal with her. You don't have any leverage over a woman like that. It's nothing you can say that's going to get her to bend or yield to your leadership. Nothing.
So what do the men do?
You don't deal with them.
If women of the future take on her mindset by the majority, what are the men to do?
No, that's bullshit, though.
I don't believe the women by majority are going to take on it, but if they do, then they would have to do like most of the other guys are doing, and go and either date outside of their race or date outside of their country, or they can conform to the market evolution.
Well, what do you mean?
Unfortunately, Bruce,
no, we don't never finish that. What do you mean?
By conforming to the market evolution?
Yeah.
Well, submit to their wife?
Well, I didn't say submit. I didn't. Did you say that the women are? Did you say Leslie Jones is trying to get men to submit to her? Because I didn't hear her say that.
I didn't say that.
I heard her say that they didn't want marriage. Period.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. What if the women say they want to take her approach? She has an ear. She's and going forward. I ain't saying it's gonna happen tomorrow, but 5, 10, 15 years, if a woman are sort acquiescing to that ideology, and the men are trying to get a woman, what are the men to do if the women don't want to connect and keep going away?
I mean, really, there's nothing you can do. You just don't marry them. Those women are still going to bust it open. They majority of women are still going to procreate. Not in their younger years, maybe in their later years. All you can do is get what you can, or either go into a different demographic or landscape, and find your foot in there. There's really nothing else you can do. We have created a society where women can actually have autonomy over the decision and behavior, and move and curate the market in the way that where we would have to react to it. There's no way we can be proactive because we don't have no leverage over the women's decisions or the way they behave.
Well, but that's not really true, though. You can't be proactive over those women. You said the answer. You got to look elsewhere.
Well,
and the men. Let me finish. You got. I think men who agonize over women I think men who agonize over women out of their league are idiots.
Yeah,
I think men, if once you realize that a woman is out of your league, you don't sit down here and go into rage and all that. She's just not for you. Right. So in the future, because women themselves.
Well, you didn't explain the proactive part.
Well, you proactively go look for women who will conform to your.
I don't think you know what I meant by proactive. I meant proactive over shaping their decisions and behavior so that the market don't even end up the way it is. Where you got,
but you can't shape our decisions.
You agree with what I just said? And we used to be able to have control over that.
Yeah, but how many years ago was that, Bruce?
Yeah, that was.
Doesn't matter. The point still remains true that we did used to have it.
Well,
and once you remove that bar, that barrier, and you allow women to go, you leave women up to their own vices, and this is what you get. The women are telling you that they never really wanted to be. Once you unlock this gate, or you open this box, the women are going to show you how they truly wanted to behave. Whenever you lift order and barriers.
Bruiser, your point is absolutely. I agree with you. Unfortunately, the reality that we're dealing with right now is that mindset and that ideology is becoming saturated throughout the world, not just throughout our country, because of that. And so
that's a fact. It's bleeding over into other countries.
Absolutely.
So what am I to do?
So the likelihood to answer Coach Ferg's question, the likelihood of what we to do now, I'm living a single.
That's it. Solitude.
Ain't no solitude. Why do we think we can?
Yeah, they are. There are men are actually going their own way.
That's true.
But they ain't living in solitude though.
Yes, they are. But they go out and buy a little bit from time to time.
Single does not mean solitude.
They living in solitude and they paying for it. Okay, they going on and going to work, and then on Tuesday night they paying for somebody to come over, down, they leave.
So whenever y'all say y'all don't lead with your wallet,
they got the
following
bread
up with the wallet.
Right, exactly.
Hold up, Precious. That's what the 70-year-old single man will do.
So look, you see what I'm saying, Precious? So the way you offset go ahead, Sean, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Single men, what they're doing is they're basically understanding that it's transactional. Now, what their transaction is could be money, it could be time, it could be a lot of things, but the point is it's a transaction, and they embrace the transactional relationship and just leave it at that.
That's it. And I will tell you, like I've said before, you can call leading, you can push the negative connotation of leaving with your wallet. Me specifically, I don't want my woman work. I want her to be able to take care of the kids and be able to rest in her femininity and soft life and be able to have the things she have at home. And whenever she got a little project, she can go and do those things. But I do not want my woman answering to another man, calling him her boss and having leverage over her. I want complete leverage over her. And if I say something or anything, I have things that I can pull away in consequence. Without that, I don't have any leverage over her. There is no law that allows me to give repercussion or chastise my wife. Those days are gone.
But you said something unique. The whole word is your wife.
Exactly.
It's your wife. But hold up. But your wife,
woman, it doesn't matter.
But a wife earns that responsibility. She earns that privilege. You can't run out the first 6 weeks. In the 8 weeks, you trying to give all the building that you building, and nobody's not trying to support your foundations of a woman.
Why?
No, he can't do that. A man can't do that.
Why can't?
Because he'll lose himself in the whole process.
Okay,
I'm not saying,
but that doesn't mean he can't.
Right. He can. Technically, he can. Technically, he can. But like you dealing with emotionally, he can't. He's not built to go and run into her. She has to be able to support anything that he has built. And what I mean by this, leading with your wallet, is this, right? It's levels to it. If I want interesting impressions, and every time I come to her, I gotta be talking about, I'm Big Ferg. I can do this for you, and our pain. He ain't gonna give you no money. I got this bank right here. Every time I come to you, what you need, something. That's what I mean by leading with the wallet. If Precious is saying, "Oh, I like you, ugly dude," and she's calling me on the phone, and she comes see me shoot my little ugly jump shot, she might just be into me. So I'll be willing to, hey, you want something to eat? You want to do this? I'll be willing to that as a man getting to know a woman. But if a man, I would never tell my son that if you're interested in a woman, you run up to her, you call her, you go everywhere she's at, you spending my money, and she can't even offer you simple homemade gestures. If a woman, homemade gestures meaning if she's in your space or you in her space, she's offering you some tokens of this is the best I can do, or this is my appreciation. That's all I'm saying.
I think there's going to be a
problem with. Hold on, let me respond to him. The problem with what you're saying is if the desired outcome is a particular woman, and our pain and your competition is our pain, and you know that her desired outcome or the thing that gives her leverage, that makes her move, that makes her sway, that makes her bend, is a transactional gift or whatever, and you don't put forth that, who is she going to go to? She's going to go to the one who pours forth.
Yes, and then.
So the problem with a lot of men these days,
a lot of women are. That's the life they want to live.
Well, they have the leverage because that's what you want.
That's not leverage.
It is leverage because she's able. If she can't get it from you, she can get it from somebody else. And the person you want, you can't get it because you have a moral validation that is preventing you from putting forth what that person wants.
But the more validation comes in a man. Especially a young man, I ain't talking about you old niggas, 45 and old. You niggas is old. For a young man, it's best for him to focus on everything that he wants to do. And if a woman catches your eye,
he wants her, then how does he do that?
But again, he shows her, Precious, I'm interested. Precious, I want to do something with you. Precious, in return, here my number, my whatever. We talk through the week, Friday, she off on the weekend, I'm off on the weekend. We done playing something. We done did something. Next day, Precious called me, hey, I enjoy me. Okay, cool. Now we can build. But if I'm like Precious Monday, Texas Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she's not even interested in me. A lot of guys, I got this.
How you respond. If Precious say, hey, look, Ferg, I'll go with you. But you got to be able to provide these resources so that I can have the time to be able to deal with you. And you say, well, I ain't about to do that. Then you're telling her that you don't really want to deal with her. And the next man that is willing to provide.
What do you mean by what resources are you pertaining to? I need to know.
We can go into the nuanced details, but I don't think we have to. If the next man steps up that actually wants her, and she pitches him that same offer at the same exchange, and he provides a resource, your competitor wins and you lose. That's just how the market is.
That woman's not for you, though. I mean, people act like
how you say that woman not for you? You don't want to compete for her. You don't want to compete. There is no such thing as a woman for you. That's a fairy tale. Just like the Prince Charming to the princess. That's also a fairy tale. It's nothing. It's all about leveraging outcomes. What can you leverage to get the outcome you want in the particular market that you're willing to compete with the other man for the one you want?
Man, don't compete against no man, fella. Never.
You ain't got no choice but to compete.
They are competitive. What?
You don't get to
not for a woman. Not for a woman. What are we talking about?
Coach, that's you talk. You talk about old niggas. You're talking like an old dude. The young guys know they got to compete.
Oh, well, they lost. They baby mama, man. Okay, I get it. I'm shut up.
Like an old dude. The young guys.
They ain't got nothing to do with old or whatever. It's the market determine whether there's a demand. And if a woman says these are my demands and you're not willing to meet them, and the other man wins. That's just the game.
That's true. But let me put it to you this way: the women have also begun to understand that they price themselves out of any reasonable market. And I think that there's a turning point coming where they understand that they've elevated to a point into where they're in men's spaces financially. And if they want family and if they want husbands, and I'm talking about Leslie Jones, I'm talking about women who actually want family on a new dynamic, they got to understand that they've encroached on men's spaces to the point where there's limited resource. So every man ain't going to be rich. Every man may not make more money than you. And just like men had to learn to understand that every woman we marry or did marry were not the breadwinners. And even in the best of time, it was only like 20 or 30% of men could pay all the bills. In the black community,
I disagree
in the
with
black community, probably even less.
Well, I want to push back to the statement that the women are pricing themselves out
They
of the market.
price themselves out of the
The
market.
reason why I push back to that is because let's just say me, you, Sean, and Coach Ferg is in the market.
Right.
The price for you to deal with her is not going to be the same price for me.
Of course not.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She's in the market. She just have a different price for a particular guy. Let's just say I'm the one that's highly desired. The price is going to be lowered for me. The standards are going to be lower for me. The bar is going to be lower because I am desired outcome. But if you want to deal with her, you're going to have to pass her height filters, her standards filters, her deal breaker filters, and her socioeconomic status filters.
What you just said is true in every market.
That's true, but it's not she's priced out. It's that she's filtering out the guys that she don't really like.
They did that in every market.
Right.
Right. So she's not pricing herself out.
And the dude that she really
well, hold on, Bruiser. The fact that women are making so much money, the market that they could play in is so much smaller than it used to be.
The fact that
so they realize that, they recognize that you're on these social media streets. It's the rich women, when they start talking about men, you can hear it in their voice about the guys that they're interested in. And that the fact is that if you're a multi-million-dollar woman and you want a multi-million-dollar man, whether you like him, don't like him, or not, you're going to have to be, if you want him to cleave and cuff you, there's certain things that you have to behave like, just as if you were just a regular chick. I don't care if I was $5 million man and you're a $4 million woman and you wanted to be my wife, I'm going to treat you like my wife. I'm not going to sit down here and let you tell me all kinds of bullshit because you made $4 million. If you want to be my wife, there's a certain amount of expectations I have for you to be a cooperative with what I want, because I'm going to be, if I'm the kind of guy I am, I'm going to be trustworthy. I'll be this, be that. But I want you to be, if we have children, I expect you to be the nurturing woman no matter how much money you have. And so that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like levels, and we got to keep it kind of consistent. Rich women complain a lot because the pool is so small of the kind of men they want. They got to come to a realization that if I do want a guy, he might not be making more money than me. And they got a decision to make. Am I going to disrespect him just because he's not rich? Or I'm gonna go ahead and cleave to this guy because.
Hold on, what do you mean disrespect him because he's not?
Well, yeah, well, that's what the women are saying. I can't respect you unless you make more money than me. I make $1 million. You got to make $1 million.
Okay, so they say they can't respect. That doesn't mean they disrespected him.
Yes, they say that shit all
just
the
because I
time.
don't have any respect for you doesn't automatically default to I'm disrespecting you.
Yeah,
it's just in the middle. It just cancels out each
I'll
way.
give you that nuance, but you know what I mean. They can't respect
You got to be careful whenever you're talking about a particular
okay,
group.
so you corrected me. I'm taking that
Because
one.
what we do in these spaces, and that's what I've been trying to do, is trying to say what you mean and mean what you say. Because a lot of times women are listening. It's hard for them to listen to us when we're not being meticulous with what we're saying, and we might be judging them in a harsh way that's not very accurate.
So you can smack me on my, you could beat me up.
Not judging them in a harsh way.
I mean, I think if we're going to speak on them, if we're going to speak on them, we got to be fair and speak on them accurately. I agree that the women are going to have to make the decision whenever their pool shrinks, the more economically sound they become. But I think that they already made that decision and they're willing to live with it. Otherwise, they would go down, but they're not going to do it.
It's a generation that'll probably live with it. You know, I don't know the age. I like people to know people's age because it plays within that dynamic. Because the younger women are sort of distancing themselves for these 45 and under women to 25. They distancing themselves. They're moving totally different out here. They're not looking to get pregnant at 18 and 17 like the generations before them of women and men had babies. Everybody was, you know what I'm saying? They're not looking to do that. So I think even with the younger men and the women, they're going to make a difference in bringing back that whole dynamic of the family way. But when you have the older people getting into a space like, don't do it, it'll cost you everything. I can't, well, maybe I'm always a hopeful. Don't tell me the numbers with ours as far as financially being able to
Hold on,
pass down wealth.
you said that older women are telling women don't do it because it'll cost them everything.
That's what the video just said. Don't do
So
it.
what are the men doing when the men say they want to get married in these particular spaces?
I don't know, because hold on. Man, hold up. A lot of men are saying the same thing. Hold up, but I just said it. A lot of men, 45 and under, my favorite generation of men who should be at the strongest, just like the women are the most. They're saying we don't want to be with each other. Is what I'm saying. It's coming down to both sides, right? And it's adults. We talking about no 22. We talking about 35, 45. Everybody's strong. Everybody got out. I ain't never met a man on YouTube. Maybe I'm wrong. That ain't made $100,000. Not one person. Everybody make 100,000. I don't know how, but the numbers are what the numbers are, right? But both people are in a space, bros. That's all I'm saying. Where they should be. If we saying, if this generation say we going our separate ways, it's gonna be a rough little 25 years when they start looking at retirement and pulling out their little 401ks and who they gonna partner with or whatever if they don't want to cooperate with each other. It's gonna look bad.
I mean, I think that the group is in particular is willing to accept that. Even the incels who don't want to do anything to become more social or even do anything to get out of the rut there and actually go out there and test to see if they can deal with women. And the women on the other side are willing to deal with that as well. Whenever you create a society where the women are able to stabilize themselves financially, the likelihood of them not wanting to put up with having to deal with it, being cooperative or submissive, especially when they got narratives and movements that's backing it and championing and supporting that way, then the likelihood of them getting into a relationship with a man who wants to push his masculinity or his will in direction as a leader over her is gonna drop. That's just how it works.
What kind of men are you talking about, though? That would like to what kind of man wants to get married to a woman where he's just her lapdog?
Right.
I mean, see, I think you over exaggerated what I said. I didn't say lapdog.
You say, well, hold on. If you don't want to exert your leadership over a woman, your natural masculinity over what kind of man are you to this woman, and how long is that going to last? Because no matter what these chicks say,
the problem with it is,
say this, Bruiser. No matter what the women
ask
say,
the question. I'm just trying to answer.
Let me. Okay. Let me just say this part. No matter what the women say, the modern woman today, they want men that they could respect. And for them to respect that man, he has to have a certain leadership quality to him that meets her needs.
Okay, what is that?
Well, that's up to the individual.
Y'all just said it don't lead with your wallet.
I
don't believe any leader.
Say anything about his wallet.
Okay, well, I believe a leader. I believe a leader is going to take care, is going to be the provider and protector and take care of the resources. The problem with a lot of these women are enduring it. You actually got to go and talk to these women.
Okay.
You have a lot of men that want to do that very thing, exert their masculinity and be a leader and give direction and purpose and look at a woman as a cooperative helpmate. But they still want that woman to simultaneously go out and bring in 50% of the significant and pay significant bills. So a lot of women are coming to thought, hell no.
So what you're saying
I will be your partner.
The only woman that is worth being with is the one that you're paying for all her bills. Right?
The only woman work for me specifically or for men in general?
The only woman that, I'm hearing your word.
I don't know what
you're not willing to take care of a woman fully 100% so she can eat bonbons and raise your kids. Then she's not. So you don't find women like that. They all working.
Yes, you can.
You can. You know, is in a barrier.
The average man doesn't earn what I earn to be capable of positioning my woman to be able to do that.
Like
so it's not a matter of you don't find that woman. You have to actually find the status.
Yeah, we talk about 10% of men. In this economy,
it's actually maybe 15 to 20% now.
You stay home, just have our kids. I'll pay for everything. Because listen,
but here's the thing:
I'm with you.
We haven't talked about how you're divvying the finances. If you make 60 or 70, 80,000, I know a couple right now with a man that's a provider, and they're not even making $100K.
And she ain't working.
No, she's not working. She take care of the kids.
Yeah, okay, so listen, so she's not your typical chick who's looking
See,
to live
see, that's
fast.
where y'all got it wrong, and
No,
that's
well,
why
hold
we
on.
keep
Well,
doing.
well, she's not your typical woman who's looking to be living high off. the
How
wall.
many? Listen, if you were to be honest, how many men in this society do you know that can actually go and be
Very
a
few.
functioning man, financially literate, that's able to hone in between 80 to 100,000, and have a roadmap that a woman is comfortable
Well,
and have an easy mind to get down with, and actually able to articulate
10,
that
20%?
in today's society between the ages of 20 and 40.
Come on, man.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about all the way up to 40, you didn't know the percentage.
Y'all already
Bruce.
said that we were raised by single mothers who wasn't even
Well.
giving us this ability or capability or capacity.
But that's a
mentally
poor
to be able to
excuse today,
articulate.
though. But that's a poor excuse
listen what I'm
today.
saying. Y'all already said we were predisposed to being raised by women who wouldn't otherwise put us in a position to be able to articulate that in the market. So
But
we
listen,
know that there
but
ain't a lot of men that
some
are able to do that
percentages.
because we're not even being raised to do that.
But that's a poor excuse, though. That's a
Hold on,
poor
but just
It ain't a poor excuse. It ain't an excuse. It's a
You're
position.
still saying a small percentage of men. Let's just
That's
say
a large
30%.
percentage of men, especially in our community.
No. We're talking about the ones you said that could take care of a household by themselves. Is that 30%? Is that 50%? What percentage of men are we talking about? That where the woman
I believe
don't have to
all
look-
men can take care of a household by
No,
themselves.
come on
They
now.
just gotta have.
Let's talk about the reality
I
of where
believe
we are
all
now.
men are capable of going outside of the house with 24 hours in a day,
We're
bringing back
that's
enough
how you want
resources.
it to
So
be,
long
but-
as they can walk, so long as they got
Okay,
air in
so
their lungs and blood in their veins, they can do it.
Boozer. We're talking about, we're talking about how it is now, not how you want it to be. How many men today?
I'm talking
how many
about
men today
capability.
can take care- How many men today can take care of all the bills for their wife and the kids?
If you asking me how many can, I'm going to
Well,
talk
how
about
many men
capability.
are
But if
then?
you're
How
talking
many
about
men
are, then I'm
are?
going to revert to the numbers. I don't
Well,
have the
give me
numbers. We
some
can look at the
numbers,
numbers.
man. Give me some numbers.
You can look it up for yourself.
Okay, so
But if you're asking me how many men can, I'm always going to say that all men are capable.
See, now we're playing games.
No, but that's why I said that's a poor excuse about the way they was raised, right? Because when I speak of man, I speak of 18, 21. 21, you can go anywhere in the world. There's no restrictions on you, right? And that's why even like my son, he's 23. I told him, listen, you're a man now. You have to go do and concentrate on something that's going to provide a peace of mind and a skill for you. The man has been working 6 months and he saved more money than I ever did in my first 15, 20 years of being an adult in a short period of time, right? Because again, I agree, Bruce, I do agree with this, right? Based off the average income, and it's all in levels. Because if you're making 50, 60,000 and you're a money management, because YouTube University and all these different places you can get to learn how to manage money. And if a woman is willing to cooperate with you and not go out and spend a bag on some nails and a weave and all that superficial stuff that take away from her beauty, a man could do that. That could be a feasible man that could raise a family. And here's the part where for a boy to transition into a mindset as a man to say, you know what, it's more important for me to take care of my family. And a woman allows him to be in that position, then I can see that over 10, 15 years. But the men are getting better by default. And where they're getting better, and this is why I shut up, they're learning to love themselves. And by them recognizing who they are, the women at some point are going to have to get in line, or they're going to have to start dating outside the race a little more.
So you're saying that men are getting better because they're learning how to love themselves.
Yes.
Actually, men are getting worse because of that notion. And the number one cause of male suicide today is because men don't feel useful. One of the last things they're saying in their suicide notes is, I felt worthless. I felt like no one needed me. Men need to be useful. Men need to have a purpose to serve and do something for a particular thing. When a man goes out and work and accrue resources or any stabilization, he's doing it for the sake of being with a woman and having a family. And if he's not doing that, and you're saying they're becoming better because they're not doing that, I would argue totally against that.
Because that's part of him loving himself.
No,
that's all a part of it. If a man can,
men are not even wired to go
but
out.
see, that's what I'm
and love
saying.
themselves. Men are wired to go and build and love their wife and their kids. Their
The point
seed,
is, men
and
do
to
have
continue to
be
procreate.
Men have to be useful.
Yeah,
But, that's why that's one.
I'm glad I have
No, that's a woman's thing. That's a woman's thing. That's a feminist empowerment thing.
I'm glad my son only listens to me. You better learn to love yourself first.
Maybe you're not looking.
That's why these men are coming out here with wearing sissy feet. They got cheerleader outfits on because they don't love themselves. They don't have the confidence in themselves. These dudes don't want to play football no more. They want to be cheerleaders on the sideline. They don't want to get out in the grass because the confidence has not been instilled in them to love who they are. You are already worthy. You just have to build.
Y'all both are making great
run over these little niggas out here.
Y'all both are making great points.
I'm
but
sorry,
I think what it boils down to is the world and our society is becoming more superficial than ever before, and that's both men and women. And as a result, the lack of like y'all said, the self-respect diminishes. Morality has been replaced for monetary gain, and that's just what it is. And we keep on running around that issue, and that issue just keeps on inflating and getting bigger and growing and growing. And soon we're going to be at a point where, like I said, transactional. This is where the direction we're going in, because we're not really attacking the issue, which is the superficialness that this capitalistic society has allowed us and raised us to be.
In all of these scenarios, man, the one thing that's natural to men is that we have to be useful. We have to be useful. That's our nature is to be useful. I know when I was younger, my aunt used to come home and she'd go, "Get that out of my face and make yourself useful." I don't know how many times she would say, "Listen, we have to be useful," but I don't agree that we have to be useful for women. But what part of our rewards is to be admired by women. That's one of the things for men on that. We that's a piece of it. It don't have to be all of it, but it's a piece of it. Just like your son is doing all this stuff, collecting money, getting on the road, becoming a great truck driver. He's not doing it just for himself. He's got a plan. And his plan, and maybe he didn't tell you, his plan at some point is that I'm going to be able to lay this shit down in front of the chick I desire.
Exactly. For a woman and kids.
That's right. So that's
because that's what we talk about.
But my point really
that's
is,
how we naturally
wired. That's his usefulness.
But that's what the loving himself is.
Right.
It's actually
There
setting
you go.
himself up to be useful.
Exactly.
That's exactly
But
right.
the loving, you got to start with the foundation of loving who you are, so you can go out and present to the world your usefulness. That's all I'm saying.
Basic
I
life.
talk-
Actually,
Violent agreement.
actually,
Man,
there's
you
some
talk to a
pushback.
teenager, he's struggling
There's some
with it.
pushback to that. There's studies that show that men who've empowered themselves, their riches and everything, and never gave it in, and never found a wife and kids, someone to love on, actually end up hating themselves for loving themselves so much. If they give, you can give a man the whole entire world, but if you don't have anything to share with and give it to, he's going to end up hating himself. He's going to deteriorate from the inside.
I agree with you 100%.
And there's also biblical stories of kings
Yeah, 100%.
who've actually done that and failed.
I mean, anybody who played basketball on the street with on a 5-on-5, if it was just men's and hard legs around the court, and we're playing a game, the game might be intense, but you let a few honeys walk around that court when we're playing.
Yeah, you can start doing all kind of crossovers he don't know how to do.
It's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
You go pull a muscle trying to dunk the ball. You ain't done.
I was able to touch the rim before. Now I can
See, y'all telling yourself because y'all telling yourself
The
it wasn't none of y'all
the thing
playing
about
sports.
us, we don't mind expressing the fact that we need and we actually want women.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's powers that be. There's an extreme side of the what do they call it? The black pill or whatever that wants you to say that. No, we don't need them. We can do. No, we need our women and we love our women. Just because there's an extreme opposite that says they don't need it doesn't mean that we got to try to do tit for tat. No, we need our women and we love our women. And that's just how it's going to be. And we're going to fight tooth and nail to be able to continue to be like that.
And we just don't right now always love behavior.
So Y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong, right? Because I'm listening. All right. So
You
because
hold your head pretty hard there.
no,
Man.
I'm just back to this usefulness and loving yourself, right? So a lot of men a lot of men have been working for 20 years. They're useful. They're useful in society. So it really comes down to that woman. Because if he loves himself, right, and this is where I come into it. A lot of guys, they never had nobody to vouch for them. They didn't grow up in a house with a father that paid attention to them and threw the football with them and taught them how to fight. They didn't get to do none of that. Okay. So they was allowed to do a lot of things by themselves under a woman's authority over the sense of most of my lifetime. So now we have men again. Usefulness. A man will find his way. A man will naturally find his way. He's going to get a job. If he want to live by himself, he's going to do things that are useful, right? But then he doesn't love who he is because nobody has validated him. I'm just speaking from I work with a lot of teenagers, right? And the one thing I used to always ask them, do you love yourself? No. Why you don't love yourself? Because nobody told me that they love me. Nobody told you that I was worth something. Now, as a man, that could grow. Because if you placate to a woman, it's more beneficial to be useful to that woman. Because I agree, women only go choose the useful dude. You can't do shit, whether it's money, fix her flat, change her oil, whatever, climb. You ain't useful to a woman. And then men,
I got a different view on that. We get validation by the fruits of our labor. We get validation by our performance and the outcome of our results. People could tell us they love us all they want, but if we ain't producing, if we ain't getting outcomes, and we ain't actually achieving what we're actually going for, none of that stuff matters. You could tell Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or any of these great guys that play the game, you're the greatest. But if they keep showing up in the playoffs and losing, none of that shit matters. They will beat themselves up in the locker room and cry to their knees until they actually reach that outcome and win that championship. That's when they validate themselves. Now I can embrace that. Now I can appreciate what they're saying. But until I get on top of Mount Everest, I am not going to celebrate going halfway up there. That's just how the man is wired. We get our validation from that.
So we get our validations from accomplishments, is what you're saying?
From the accomplishments, the goals that we actually go out to achieve, and the outcomes that we desire. Once we reach those outcomes, that validates us that we're actually doing what it is that we want to do, that we like to do, that we sought out to do. Not what somebody said.
You love yourself the whole way.
I even had my wife tell me the other day, who loves me, said, hey, look, I'm proud of what you're doing and all that stuff, because I had lost something that was very, very, very dear to me. I appreciate that. But no, until I get back what I had, I got to keep working. I got something to do. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't give me the validation.
Did you love yourself along the way, bro?
Appreciation.
Coach,
I think we're talking about two different things.
He asked if he's gonna keep going to get it back. Like, you know what I mean? That's where the love is. Like, I don't know.
Until I get it back, I am gonna be in a miserable state.
Right. The way men show love is to not quit, is to keep going. You know, we always talk about how men endure in relationships, and, you know, women are quick to leave and things like that's how a man is showing his love, whether a woman wants to realize that or not, whether she wants to recognize it as that or not. That's just how y'all just don't love the meaning and how we love ourselves. You know, we're let me go get my hair done, let me go get my nails, let me love on and it is the same for women too, because women have goals and things of that nature. I don't want to quit, I don't want to fail. However, I believe that men are more hard on themselves, because you know that you have to be useful in order for others to want you around, to, you know, have you around. No woman wants to see a man laying on the couch like that. That's just not what she wants to see. You got to have some type of emotion somewhere doing something. That's how we know that you love yourself, and it's even way beyond us. You love yourself enough to want to go do something. You know, I know people, even in the situation now, family, dealing with people that, you know, this person, time after time again, you're getting DUIs, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you don't have a job now, you're like, he's at the bottom of the bottom, and it's like, you got to love yourself enough to do some side jobs, you know, do what you got to do to get out of this DUI. Like, you know, men have to love themselves in a way where it shows you're not out to fight. You're still fight, and you're going to continue to fight. That's how you love yourself as a man. Amongst the hygiene and all that other good stuff, you're not giving up in the fight.
I agree with you. I just was going to tell you to close your eyes. I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing right now. And, no, but seriously, one thing that I was going to ask you guys, do y'all feel that part of our what we get validation from is recognizing or not part of validation, I'm sorry, is one of the things that men provide to others, the confidence, is building confidence in others. Because I think that job is a male job, and we enforce confidence in ourselves as well as into our families as well as into others. Do y'all agree with that?
I 100% agree with it. I think confidence is a strong thing. It's gonna inspire the younger men, or even the men that are around you that are not actually getting the outcomes you are able to achieve, to feel like, oh, I can do that. Sean is able to do that. What's stopping me from doing that? That gives me the confidence. Oh, what? I know I can do that if Sean do that. But we have the same skill set. But whenever you have a percentage of men that are able to get particular outcomes, and then guys are saying, "Oh no, we can't do that because that's only the small percent." It makes you lose confidence. So you have guys behind the microphone and saying only the top guys can do that. Right. No, what's stopping you from being a part of the top guys? What's stopping you from expanding the percentage of top guys? Nothing. Your own ambition.
Right.
So instead of us speaking to your own individual ambition and handle it case by case, man by man, interaction by interaction, we just we paint everything with one color and say that, no, that's only this particular portion of guys can pull that off. No, beat your chest, be a man. What happened to the men we use? We can all do that. If I got to go in the military at 18 because I'm predisposed to coming from poverty to start off, you know, with Uncle Sam to push me, then that's what you got to do. You might not just be able to go straight into college and actually get a high paying job, but it's a matter of ambition and risk taking. And we got a lot of black men and black women, and especially outside, don't go in the military. I would argue that 4 years in the military is way better than 4 years in college. Whenever you can come out of 4 years in the military and go directly into college and get a 4-year degree and have a 5 to 10 point preference ahead of all of your peers when you get into the service.
But Darwin, that's a message for some 22-year-olds, some 45-year-olds. They definitely not ready to do. That's an option, not that they wouldn't take on. But
okay, so we can't say the guys that's already grandfathered into not making or not having this particular mindset. But we're talking about we still got to talk about the young men that are coming in.
But nobody focuses on those young men.
Why not?
And I'm gonna answer Sean's question and what you said at the same time. And I'll shut up. Sean, the question that you asked is a great question, right? Because by default, who would give you that confidence, who would give you that support, would be your own daddy. A lot of men don't have that coming into their manhood. So for me to give it to you, it might take me 6 to 8 months, 10 months, so you can come out of that psychobabble that we learned before a man came into your life, right? It might take you going through some things and we talking about it, then we coming up with solutions on how to do it. We going through the step by step because you might learn hands-on, right? And this is where even with school, if not a lot of men are going into those spaces where those minds are moldable, and to say, listen, follow these steps. So by the time you're 25, you can see your light blooming and your future. You won't make the same things mistakes. You won't get caught in the same traps that you see, so you can expand beyond. And I agree with Darwin. 18, 19, first thing you know, You wasn't in school every day, so you can't do multiplications up to 12, but you can do it to 10. So look to the military and getting a skilled trade early. So when you get 40, you already got 20 years of experience, and then you can start levying your life a little better. It's just the
And
father gives that confidence.
you don't even have to stay the whole 20. That's just
No, you do 4 years.
A catapult
years.
ahead and get you in a position where you don't have to take on student loan debt whenever you're going after a particular career. And the confidence, you got to understand, a lot of our young men between the ages of 20 and 40, they're more prone. The likelihood of them listening to somebody who is jaded is high in these spaces than somebody who actually are living in the outcome that the person that's listened to wants. And that is our fault, because we're so prone and compelled to get in front of the microphone and tell men that, hey, instead of saying, okay, what is your position? What is your situation? What is your credit? Like, what leverage do you have right now? I'm not going to tell you not to get in a relationship or not because of my own experiences. But we do that too often. We say, I just got taken to the cleaners. No, don't get married. No. What can you do different that I didn't do? Perhaps maybe I get a premarital agreement. We even have men in this space say premarital agreements don't work. When you have a fucking 20-year-old, sorry about my cousin. When you have I haven't had a 20-year divorce attorney come on my platform, on my channel, many times that is aggravated with that. It actually works. It's just that you guys don't even put it together the right way. That's why it don't work. It's going to be scrutinized. Of course it will. If you contest, everything is scrutinized. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't use you shouldn't use that protection whenever you're going into a marriage. And I don't understand why men are doing that. I think I do understand it. Whenever you're making again, we got to look at it as a content creator. When you're making content in this space, you have to go to the extreme, and that's when they're going to get views. If you try to stay neutral or you try to look at this stuff objectively and fair, you're not going to go anywhere. The algorithm is not going to reward that.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a mess.
In this YouTube land. That's why I come over here, do my lives, and I leave. And I also attend church on YouTube.
Sorry about the curse word, y'all.
You're good. But yeah, we're gonna go with final thoughts. You guys have been very active and very engaging, and I appreciate you because this is conversation that hopefully will move the needle forward. Y'all know I don't like the disrespect. I don't like the finger blaming. I told y'all when we came back to the men's forum that we have to look at everyone, and everyone has to take responsibility for their actions. It's not going to be well, you shouldn't have did this and you shouldn't have did this. Yeah, you objectively judge actions, but at the same time, in real life and real life situations, I have the men's forum and the perspective of you guys, to kind of see where the men are in today's society and what our men are going to and how you're going to inform the younger men. Are you going to let your trauma, spill out and bleed out and allow others that are listening to say, oh, you know what, it ain't even worth it? Or are you going to say, yeah, I had bad experiences, but I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to, one monkey don't stop a show, right? Like, that is the attitude that those who are looking for relationships, they want to see the positive attitude instead of the, oh, well, I'm giving up. Like, ain't nothing out here. Y'all all washed. That don't want to hear that, especially in a society where you want to join with someone else, or you are, supposed to be companioned with someone else in this thing called life. So that's why I hold these men forums and have these conversations, because we have to get outside of the red pill and all of that and be realistic about real life situations and not not the trauma that just is stagnant on YouTube. That drama gets you likes and clicks and and it gets you paid. And speaking of pay, I got work in the morning. So we going to go through the final thoughts, and then we going to get up out of here, okay? We'll start with our pain, go to Coach Ferg, Sean, and
Yeah, just real quick. You know, this is a good videos. One of the things I think about marriages, and I'm not just talking about situationships, but marriages, I think they're going to come in all forms. I think the most rare is going to be when a man can take care of everything that the woman needs and she could just raise the kids. That would be great, be ideal, but that belies the fact that most of the women today are supposedly educated and can take care of themselves. So one, they have to decide that they want to just be stay-at-home moms, which is not a bad thing to do, but most of them don't. I think the better dynamic is to be able to have leadership where, you know, she's working and you're working, and you kind of trade off of each other so the burdens are not too hard on either one of you. And that you maintain your leadership because the woman respects who you are and your relationship. And it doesn't matter if she's making money or not. You know, I think that's the way it is, but because we can look at the percentages, white, black, or indifferent, maybe less than 20% or 25% of men can take care of a household by themselves, 100%. You know, so I just think that we need to get to a dynamic where we're not intimidated because a woman works, and she's going to have to realize just because you make money, that don't mean you can boss me around. You know, hey, listen, we'll have some respectful conversations, but if you consider me your leader, and I'm going to land it on this one, at some point, I want you to sit your ass down. You're going to have to trust me or not, you know? And then if we can get to that point, then we could coexist. And yes, I'll do chores. I like to cook. I do all kind of things, you know, in my own house already. So it's not about who does all the chores around the house. We should have designated days to keep our house clean anyway, and including the kids. Anyway, so I'll land it there.
Thank you, Art Payne. I appreciate you for being on the panel this evening and dedicating your time to this conversation. Coach Ferg.
I mean, hey, Darren, man, let me say this, man. I appreciate you going out there, man, working with the men, man, working with, you know, young men, trying to give them a good vision going forward, man, because you see the mess. I think you younger Gen X, but you got a piece of what could be useful going forward. And I appreciate that because there's not a lot of brothers that do that. But, you know, I relate to a lot of these videos for some reason, right? Because my parents, and that's why I said love, and a lot of us over the last 35, 40 years ain't had that validation from both. That's why, you know, I lost my dad a couple of years ago, and I think we've always had that father-son relationship. You know, the movie Friday, I remember when Craig had to go in the bathroom when his dad was on the shitter. That's the type of relationship we had, right? But the gems he was giving me about loving yourself, working hard, respect. I have 5 sisters, so I didn't really curse women, I never like cursing women. I never got into feuds like that. But as I got into my own, I truly believe in going out and discovering who you are as far as what is your personal skill set that you can bring to the world. If you're an artist, a musician, if you like to learn to be able to work with electricity, whatever it is you're doing, changing tires, do it at a high skill level, and make sure you focus on self-care. You know what I'm saying? You hear me all the time talk about take a bath, sit in that water, relax your muscles, eat right. I've always been that type of guy. Plus I was a sports jockey, so I had women that I had to like back up off of me. But as I got older, I understood certain things about what I'm gonna provide for a woman that falls under my covenant. If I'm dating her, then there's certain things I'm gonna do by default. You ain't gonna have nothing falling apart because I'm gonna take care of the climb up on the roof. I love that. My wife, she does very little throughout the day. I wake up at 3. Like I said, I'm waking up at 3 o'clock most of my days. Sometimes sleeping through to 7:30. Depends. She sits and does her thing, and we interacting all day. She loves to cook for me, and I think from us being where we are, and people before us, because I think about my son, like it's a great time for him to get out and see the world under his own eye, under his own understanding, and take at least if he listened, then he's not going to fall victim to a woman just trying to manipulate him and take advantage of him, because he's going to still be able to choose whether or not she's telling the truth, or if he catches her or whatever. I can't explain to him about that. He's going to have to see it for himself. But I do believe, again, and I shut up, it's going to be a interesting 4 years for a man. I don't believe a man of color can sit around and wait to see about what the women are going to do. I think
ever.
But a lot of, but we hear where the women at? Why the women ain't? Where they at? Why they ain't doing something? I do believe if he goes out and focuses on himself and presents himself when he can get in that space, I think the woman that he wants will see him and she'll show up for him and provide that. But it's going to be an interesting 4 to 15, 20 years, how you 40-year-olds who old as hell go be 60-year-olds, and the children of them are going to be saying, what? You didn't teach me nothing? We have no more excuses.
Thank you so much, Coach Ferg. I appreciate you. Sean, your final thoughts?
Hi.
You left and came back, so.
They say hi.
My name is Sean, and I do chores. Precious, you touched on something earlier that I want to expound on, and that's the fact that I joke around and I say that I'm throwing in a towel. There's nothing out there, and that's not the truth.
I think you just threw in the towel, guys.
It's romantic.
I think we just threw in the towel.
That was the biggest contradiction of the night.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I see how you do me, Precious. It's all good.
I didn't do nothing. I swear to God, I didn't do nothing.
Your camera went out. Yeah, I think your camera went out.
Oh man.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah, just go ahead, man. What's your last?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
He just bounced on you.
We got company.
No, all right. Okay. Yeah,
His wife or his mom or somebody in the background.
All right, Darwin. Look, I'm trying to get as many Z's as I can. Sean, we'll see you next time. Love you.
Man, all I can say is I appreciate you allowing me on here. I appreciate the fellas being able to deal with my unfavorable pushback. Sometimes it can be tough to deal with, but if we're gonna have the conversation effectively, we got to be able to be objective, even if we want to kind of be biased. We just play fair for the audience that's listening. And if anybody out there have, that's trying to figure out life or whatever, just have a outcome first mentality. Every claim answers, what result does this actually produce? Do a probability assessment. Don't argue about what should happen. Describe what tends to happen and what frequency, and acknowledge the outliers, and then optimize yourself. So the burden is always on the individual to adapt. And you don't have to appeal to anything being fair, reform, or correction. Just self-optimize so that you can offset the nuances that most people have to deal with. And just accept the consequences for your outcome. Because some of the stuff that y'all are going for ain't good for you. But I push that if that is a desired outcome, by all means necessary, go for it. Just as long as you can deal with the consequences that come from it, if there are any. And that's it. That's the game.
Well, thank you so much, Darwin. I appreciate you for coming in and being, a little bit more balanced, seeing both sides, and giving a little bit of pushback in areas that we needed. because like I said, we don't want to necessarily do finger pointing. We want to do more of character development. How can I be better, right? How can I, and that goes for men and women, how can I be better? How can I walk away from this conversation being better and not necessarily pointing the finger? My mom always preached, you pointing a finger at somebody else, you got about 4 fingers pointing right back at you. And so we always have room for improvement. We shouldn't let past hurts, pains, failures determine what tomorrow is going to bring. Okay, wake up as if those failures and things did not happen, or allow them to be the battery in your back to just be better. I don't know, like some men have it, and then some men, they do need the extra coaching, and they do need the extra encouragement, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just be honest with yourself, knowing that you need that, and seek after that that progression in life. I'm in sales, so it's like, all right, yesterday was a bad day, but today we're gonna have to get on it. Like, you know what I mean? You can't let it allow you to be in the dumps for too long. You gotta brush it off and keep it moving. And I think that if more men and women incorporated that into their daily walk of life, then we all would be better. Some people are complacent in being ignorant. Some people are complacent in being stagnant. They're okay where they're at. And if that's your story, then you got to be okay with what you get. You can't complain. You can't have all these, complaints about the things in the world around you when you're not really doing anything to make it better for yourself or the people around you. So I appreciated this show. I knew it was going to be a good one. I didn't know it was going to be this long. 4 hours. Whew. I didn't think it was going to be this long.
That's my fault. Not blame. I'll take a blame.
No, you're good. It's all needed and it's all appreciated. Everyone in the chat, whether you have been watching the show from the beginning, whether you've come in the end, whether you're part of the replay gang. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all know what I say. Be real with yourself so you can be real with everyone else. I appreciate you guys for coming to the Men's Forum this evening. Meet us back here next Wednesday. Easter is coming up, so happy Easter. We will see each other after the holiday. And so have a great Easter. Remember the reason for the season, okay? And stay safe. Y'all have a great evening.